Neighbors always say, Tonya, tell the truth. There's no such thing as truth. Everyone has their own truth.
I was the best figure skater in the world at one point in time.
Call that a clean skate? Stop talking to her. That girl is your enemy.
Who's that?
Jeff was my first date ever. And my mom came.
You need to see a wholesome American family.
I don't have a wholesome American family.
Nothing's ever your fault. I was embarrassed for you.
My entire life, I've been told I wouldn't amount to anything. And you know what? Maybe I would.
4.8.
How do I get a fair shot here?
We also judge on presentation.
We're gonna need it even the playing field. I know a guy, shouldn't even be saying his name. Derek.
The press wanted me to be the pile of crap.
I never did this.
What is going on?
We're with the FBI.
They know something.
What can you tell us about Tonya Harding?
I don't know a Tony Harding.
Aren't you her bodyguard?
When I was a kid, did you ever love me?
I made you a champion, knowing you'd hate me for it. That's the sacrifice a mother makes.
You cursed me. America. They want someone to love, but they want someone to hate.
I mean, come on. What kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that to a friend?
Stop that.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of any major corporation whatsoever.
Welcome to the Pope on Film. I am Bunny Williams, and with me is
Reverend Steve. I am the founder of the Church of Ed Wood, also storyteller, writer, amateur surgeon, father of, let's say, 5 children, and all-around crazy guy. This is episode 160 of the Pope on Film, and I gotta say, Bunny, this week's episode, man, I am jazzed.
Yeah,
I am jazzed to do this episode. Really jazzed. Of course, there's nothing special about this episode. It's just that I feel jazzed because I rubbed a bunch of Vicks Vapor Rub inside my butthole, and now everything feels spicy. I'm just pumped up and ready to go. You know,
that'll do it.
Yeah, no, that'll definitely do it. And before we start this podcast, I just want to congratulate us, Bunny.
Yes.
On a very successful last episode of the Pope on Film podcast. Specifically, episode 159, A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
One to go down in the history books.
Exactly, because I got in contact with Donald Trump's cabinet in the White House, and they assured me that last week's episode of the Pope on Film podcast was the most listened to podcast ever.
Yes.
Period. And it is not like a member of the Trump cabinet to lie, right?
No, not at all.
So episode 159, podcasting history, most listened to podcast ever. In fact, I was talking to Orrin Hatch this morning.
Yeah.
He's a big fan. And he told me, Steve, you're the greatest podcaster in my lifetime. in fact, you're the greatest podcaster ever. And I said, does that include Washington and Lincoln? And he said yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, not too many people know this because people ain't been smartified like Isby, but Washington and Lincoln were two of America's first podcasters.
Yes.
Yeah, if you really know your history, Washington's podcast was kind of a specific one for a specific sort of audience. It was created specifically for white slave owners with wooden teeth.
Mm-hmm.
He called his show Slave Choppers with a Z, with two Z's, double the Z, double the flavor.
Yes.
And of course, Lincoln's podcast was a fantasy sports podcast about his favorite sport, slave wrestling.
Slave wrestling. Yeah.
That's where Tarantino got it from. Real dark guy, that Lincoln. But to be fair, I think that you would also have a dark side if you hunted vampires all day.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
all night, I guess. It wouldn't be all day. It would be all night.
It would have to be all night. And yeah, a movie that came out and was never heard from again.
Although, to be doubly fair, I guess you could hunt vampires all day and not in the night if you wanted to do it the easy way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
reminds
cheating.
me.
It's not very sportsmanlike.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Muppet movie. So, what are you up to? I'm on my way to Bombay, India to become a movie star. You don't go to Bombay, India. You go where we're going, Hollywood. Well, sure, if you want to do it the easy way. Also, apropos of nothing, since we're talking about presidents, here's a fun presidential fact for you. William Howard Taft was a big fan of a Japanese fetish where rich businessmen get really, really fat and then they get stuck inside of a bathtub and have a woman dressed in a maid's outfit wrestle him out of the tub. It's a big fetish in Japan. They're called tub boys.
Tub boys.
Tub boys. Yeah. There are specialty places in Japan that rich businessmen can go. They're like combination restaurant and spas.
Uh-huh.
In Japan. Tub boy restaurants / spas. They're really big. Yes, Maxwell. Can you what?
Can I tell Bunny something?
Can you tell Bunny something? Okay. Yes. Do I get to pick what you tell him?
No.
Oh. Okay. But go ahead anyway.
Bunny?
Yeah.
I have in my hand is a rhino. He has a crazy form. It is the destroying, killing form.
Now I gotta say, Maxwell. There's more. Okay.
Venom.
And Venom, yeah.
Has a big, crazy, killing Spider-Man form.
Yeah, but he's not that successful because Spider-Man's still alive. I gotta say, Maxwell, I'm quite impressed by the fact that you were just going to say this is Rhino. But then I guess you're finally slowly starting to realize the fact that this is a audio medium and not a visual medium. So you said, in my hand, this is Rhino. Quite impressed with that, Maxwell. You're getting to be a better podcaster.
In my hand again is Spider-Man. Has a crazy evil form. It is...
Spider-Man doesn't have a crazy evil form.
Well, my toy does.
Okay. Well, what's its crazy evil form?
It is the very powerful killing everybody form.
Okay, maybe dial down the killing right now. You're at like an 8 with the killing. I need you to be at like a 4 with the killing, okay?
Oh.
Okay, dial it down, okay? Dial it down. Dial down the killing, okay? Maybe wounding, maybe knocking out. Just they're knocked out. They're stunned. That's what they do in Pokemon, okay? They're just getting stunned. Yes, Maxwell, yes.
Rhino's vehicle.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Drill.
Drill.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
That's fruit.
Gotcha. Okay, Maxwell. Oh, by the way, BT Dubs, Bunny, before we get too far into this episode, I think that we should take some quality time here on the podcast to acknowledge our new sponsor.
Okay.
The Black Hawk Casino in Shawnee, Oklahoma.
The Black Hawk Casino.
In Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Beautiful downtown Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Yeah, beautiful downtown Shawnee, Oklahoma. Hey, people of Shawnee, have you been kicked out of all the other casinos in town? Then you have a home at the Black Hawk Casino. Come on down, felons. So I was listening to the radio a few days ago. I was listening to the radio, a sign you're old.
Yeah.
And I heard a commercial for the Black Hawk Casino in beautiful Shawnee, Oklahoma. And the commercial said, this is what the commercial said. The Black Hawk Casino voted one of Shawnee's best casinos. Bitch, there's only 3 casinos. 4 if you count the Grand Casino. 4 if you count the Grand Casino, but that's on the outskirts of Shawnee. That's in the outer rim territories of Shawnee.
Yeah.
But I don't count that one because you literally have to drive out of the city to get to this place. So seriously, there's only 3 casinos in town. And the commercial, it does not say voted Shawnee's best casino, because duh. It says voted one of Shawnee's best casinos. But what kind of brag is that? Black Hawk Casino voted one of Shawnee's casinos.
Well, they're definitely in the top 3.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Black Hawk Casino voted a place. Freaking ridiculous. Black Hawk Casino. Bunny.
Yes.
This week on the Pope on Film podcast, woo, buddy, spank my ass and dress me like your grandma, because this week I have a super special treatski for you and for everybody out there listening in podcast land.
All right. What do you got?
Well, first off, a slight aside here. I am very upset that President Trump has outright refused to impose sanctions on podcast land.
Yeah.
It is so blatantly obvious that Donald Trump is working with podcast land. He's in cahoots with podcast land. Impose the sanctions, President Trump. Bonnie, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. First off, this entire segment that I'm doing right now comes from with a big heaping helping from my 12-year-old daughter, Isabella.
Okay, good.
So I wasn't aware of this. Isabella made me aware of this. So, Bunny, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but a number of YouTube celebrities, a number of YouTubers, famous YouTubers, the type of people who make funny videos while playing video games and somehow they're a millionaire, those people, they have evil versions of themselves that sometimes appear in their videos.
I thought that was just the videos.
No, think Superman and Bizarro Superman or something like that. Like a Markiplier. He's a famous YouTuber. He has an evil version of himself that occasionally appears in videos, and his name is Darkiplier.
Okay.
Also, Mark Fishbank.
Uh-huh.
Is that his name? Fishback. Mark Fishback. Apparently that's a YouTuber. Also, Nate Wants to Battle, all one word, has an evil version of himself called Natemare. Get it?
Natemare.
Yeah. Jacksepticeye, who I am told is a person. Again, Bella compiled this list. Jacksepticeye has an evil counterpart, and his name is antiseptic eye. It's a trend on YouTube with YouTube personalities have versions of themselves.
But seeing YouTube personalities, why do they need evil versions of themselves?
I don't know.
I think that's just YouTube celebrity.
Yeah, I don't know. So, well, that got me thinking. So I did some research. I did some investigating.
Uh-huh.
And I thought to myself, if there was an evil version of me, then where would I find me? Where would I have to go to find myself? What is the one place that I would be found guaranteed every single solitary time? Where could I find myself? So of course I went to Build-A-Bear Workshop.
Yeah.
Because of course, I mean, that's where I'm always at.
I would have gotten that.
Yeah. I just like going to the mall, doing a bunch of shots, smoking a bit of hashish, and then just building myself a shit ton of bears. And I get like 8 or 10 bears, and then I throw them in the fountain in the middle of the mall, and I just start humping.
Yeah.
Until they throw me out. Usually I black out like halfway through the Build-A-Bear experience, and it's the throwing out that wakes me up.
Yeah.
And then I go home, and then Natasha gets pissed because I have like 12 wet bears bring into the house. Anyway, I was at Build-A-Bear Workshop scoping it out, and I did it. I found the evil version of myself.
You did? Okay.
Oh, I'm so super excited. I'm so jazzed. So jazzed for that. It's true, Bunny. All of it. We all have evil twins out there. And I totes found mine. So.
Jeannie says she doesn't have an evil twin.
Yeah, that sounds totally false.
No, excuse me. It's because I am the evil twin.
Fake news. So
shut up. You want me to come beat your ass? You'll see how evil I am.
So I thought
I deal with toddlers all day.
Yeah. So I thought, Bunny, that we could do is we could take some time here on the show, and you could interview my evil twin, because I'm my evil twin right here.
Okay.
And I thought, would you be willing to interview my evil twin, Bunforth?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I should warn you right now, okay?
Yeah.
Bunny, that this guy, real piece of work, this guy. Real son of a bitch, this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So just just keep your guard up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This guy is a real SOB. Okay?
Okay.
Also, I'm going to take a break for a bit, because you don't need me for this. So I'm going to go get a beer. They finally at the supermarket at the corner store near my house, they started selling tall boys of Tecate Light. It's like Tecate, but tasty. The official beer of the Pope on Film podcast. So I'm going to go and I'm going to crack open a beer, and I'm going to let my evil twin Stefan take over. That's the name of the evil twin. Stefan. Already you can tell that's an evil name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go. Okay. And I'm going to let my evil twin come in here. So, okay. So, all right.
Stefan, let me know when you're in.
All right. You have fun. Namaste, Bunny.
Welcome to the Pope on Film, Stefan.
Yes, I am so excited to be talking to you today, Bunny. How are you doing?
I am good. So, what turned you evil?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure. Maybe it was my upbringing. I was the firstborn child in a family of 11. We have a very strong uh, family bond. I'm very close. Probably my best friends are my own mother and my father. You know, I
Yeah.
thank them. I thank them for the way that they raised me up in the faith, raised me up to be a strong guy.
Yeah.
You know, and pretty much once a month, you know, me and my parents, we like to just go into the woods and just camp it out. You know, just camp out our feelings.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's good.
yeah,
A little. So, do you attend church regularly since they raised you in the faith?
absolutely every Sunday, every Sunday. But since we're on the subject of church, let's talk about you, Bunny, because I was talking to Steve, and he told me again, no judgment here, because if
Yeah.
there's one thing that Christians don't do, it's judge people. But I had heard that you, how do I put this? You sometimes smoke the devil's cabbage.
Yes.
And not that there's anything wrong with that. I just want you to know that my wife and I were praying for you.
Okay. That's awfully nice of you.
Yeah.
You're not
You know?
seeming so terribly evil to me, actually.
Well, you know, I guess evil is in the eye of the beholder. I work for a nonprofit. We help rural communities convert to clean energy. And when I'm not working, most of the time I'm either volunteering at my local St. Vincent de Paul or spending time with my darling wife, Patty. She's a very successful Avon seller, and she'd probably give me an old boot on the backside if I didn't mention this. She's also a very successful mom.
Oh.
Yes, she's a mom to our 3 adorable bundles of joy, Blake, Sydney, and Daquan. We adopted. We adopted one of them, but we love them all the same.
Yeah.
We love them all equally.
Well, yeah, you have to. You have to be fair. They're only kids. They don't understand.
Yeah. They're all related in the eyes of the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you played with Jesus's gel balls?
I have not, but let me tell you, I know that book that Steve is always reading, and that is, I'm so excited to have finally gotten Steve to read a Christian book. You know,
Yeah.
baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. We're gonna get that, Steve, one day. We're gonna get him one day. One day he's gonna when he least expects it, he's gonna open himself to the Lord, like I have.
What would you say your last really, really evil thing was?
Oh, well, I went to the movies a few weeks ago with Sydney and Daquan. Blake did not want to go because he gets night terrors whenever he's in a dark space. So Blake doesn't like movies. So I went with Sydney and Daquan, and we watched that. What's that movie? Ferdinand, the bull movie.
Yeah.
Oh, we thought that was just a hoot and a holler. We just had a bunch of fun. But when I left the theater, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. We had left our drinks and soda on the floor of the theater. Can you believe that? And the commercial in the beginning of the movie was very clear that I was to put them in the proper trash receptacle. I just felt so horrible. I just felt so horrible. I cried when I got home. I know.
I hope you've prayed about it.
I have. I've prayed long and hard with my church's pastor, Father Jeff.
Father Vinny Boombots.
Father Jeff. He's a great guy. You'll meet him someday.
Yeah.
He's a very nice guy. And hold on. I'm getting pushed out of the room now. It was very nice to talk to you, buddy. I'll talk to you so much. Can you believe that asshole?
Oh my God!
The hell's up with that guy?
What an evil fuck!
Jesus Christ, that piece of shit. God, one of these days I'm just gonna mug him.
You should just own him.
Yeah.
Can't believe that guy. The hell is wrong with him?
I don't know.
Yeah. Can't believe I am an evil twin.
What a
Me.
freak.
Jesus. Can't believe that I, of all people, have an evil twin. You know, it makes me just want to start doing meth again. Seriously, fuck that other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't believe that.
Yeah, Scooch, that other guy.
Don't say screw, Maxwell.
No.
That's a bad word.
Scooch.
Scrooch?
Screw you.
Scrooge that guy. No, that's too close. You got to think of something else. Like when Emerald and Bella were young, we would cuss a lot in front of them, and Mommy and I realized that we needed to stop cussing around them because they were picking up everything we were saying. So we would say chickens.
Chicken.
Yeah, Bella remembers chickens. Instead of saying a cuss word, we would just say chickens.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, chickens. That was like the big word, and like you drop something on your foot, you'd go, oh, son of a chickens.
You guys would flip cuss words, and I would be like, nope, chicken.
Chickens would take over whole phrases because for a while it would just be a word. Yeah, it would just be a word like that. Oh, that guy is full of chickens.
Yeah.
Or oh, chickens him. Or what the chickens? But then eventually chickens was just the entire phrase.
Yeah.
Like we would just look at someone and just be like, oh, chickens. It just became like, instead of like screw that guy, it would just be, oh, chickens. You just point at someone, chickens.
Yeah.
Chicken that guy.
Well, that sounds pretty convenient, actually.
No, we loved chickens. Man, we loved chickens. Chickens was huge back in the day. Bunny,
Yes,
you live under a rock.
I do.
Let me be clear. You live under a rock, not under the rock.
Yes.
The only person who lives under Barack is Michelle, if you know what I mean. Huh? Wink, nudge, nudge. Fucking. I mean fucking. That's what I meant. I meant fucking. Anywho, due to your rockness, I sometimes worry that although you no doubt hear the big news, that the smaller news might slip through your fingers, slip through your dainty fingers, which is why I occasionally spank your ass with facts in yet another installment of the Pope on Film News Smatterings.
News smatterings. And what has smattered in the news?
Yeah.
Lately?
First off, there's the big news that everybody's talking about. I worked out right before the podcast.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm actually glad that Skype took a long time to load for you because I needed to actually breathe.
Yeah.
So that was good.
What caused you to work out?
Well, I lost 10 pounds recently in the Tao of Steve diet.
Okay.
Meaning I've been really worried about my weight. And like I would go to my wife and I'm like, oh my God, I'm 169 pounds. And she would say, that's not fat. You're not fat. No. And then I would counter with, yes, but this is the fattest I've ever been. I've never been this heavy before. So to me, this is fat. I know it's not fat to you, but it is to me. So after like months and months of me trying to lose weight, finally I just said, you know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. Not weigh myself.
That is that is the most sensical approach to
Yeah.
take.
Well, it works until your pants don't fit.
Yeah, so I noticed that my pants weren't fitting as great as they used to. So I didn't weigh myself throughout November and December and January, and so I weighed myself now. And apparently, I had lost 10 pounds, but I just keep looking down, and I'm like, I don't know where I lost these 10 pounds. Maybe in my butt and back.
Yeah.
How the frick do you lose weight during Thanksgiving and Christmas? How?
So, like, I can
If I am going, how did I lose weight
How?
during Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Nobody does that.
Mm,
I think your evil twin stole it. That's what I
Maybe.
think.
Maybe. Or maybe it's because the person who used to make Thanksgiving passed on.
Oh,
I was
okay.
waiting for Tasha to leave the room before I said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that might be a reason why too. The food wasn't the same. The dinner wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. Thanksgiving and Christmas. So the main thing I would eat is this family recipe called granny potatoes, and they didn't make them during the big Christmas dinner, and they hardly made any during Thanksgiving dinner, and they weren't the same. So I was like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need anything.
Yeah.
A few bits of turkey, but that's it. So anyway, I lost 10 pounds, but I keep looking down at my stomach, and I'm like, it doesn't look like I lost 10 pounds. I look the same, if not worse. I still have this bit of a gut. So finally, I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna start working out a little bit at home. So I did as many push-ups as I could and sit-ups as I could, and then I'm like, oh crap, I didn't realize the time. I have to do the podcast like now. So I'm sitting here waiting for you to pop up on Skype while also going. So thankfully, it took a while. I was very excited about that because now I can breathe.
Skype still says we're not connected.
Yeah, that's weird. But Skype can't lie to us because we know that there's a connection.
Yeah.
So in other news, in other not as important news, the Super Bowl happened.
I heard that if you don't clap for the president, it's treason.
Yes, that's true. That's true. It's treason. And because Donald Trump thinks he's America now.
Yes.
So if people hate him, then those people must hate America because I'm the president of America. Like, he automatically thinks that because he's the president, he is now a flag. It's like, oh, I hate Donald Trump. So you hate the flag? No, I just hate you. Well, I don't know why you hate America like that. I don't hate America. I just hate you in America. I'm confused. I'm America. No, you're not. You son of a bitch. I have a longer work day than you, so sit your ass down.
Yeah.
So in less important news, the Super Bowl happened. And for those of you who don't know fake sports like the NFL, the Super Bowl is sort of like the WrestleMania or the Ultima Lucha of football.
Yes.
And every year, it's always fun for me to see a team win and then see a city of white people riot and then see the news struggle to white-splain it.
Yes.
Passionate fans in the streets of Philadelphia celebrating with overturned cars on fire. Celebrating.
Yes.
The Super Bowl,
as you do.
Yeah. The Super Bowl is really big for me, though, only because movie trailers drop.
Yeah.
So there's Solo, the prequel film about Red Solo cops featuring Donald Glover as Tupperware, which I'm very excited about. Then there's Tom Cruise's film Mission Impossible Number Does It Even Matter Anymore?
Not at all.
But the big news was the secret third Cloverfield movie.
Yes. I saw that drop on Netflix.
Yeah,
and was a bit, really?
Yeah, so Paramount was making a movie called The God Particle, and they were hiding from people the fact that it was actually a Cloverfield film. And it's about them trying to find the God particle and them turning on this machine, but it also has to do with alternate universes and yada, yada, yada. And it was secretly a Cloverfield film. And real weird cast. Like Chris O'Dowd is in it.
Yeah.
I guess because every crew stranded in space needs one funny guy.
Yes.
And then what's his name? The German sniper from Inglourious Bastards is in it. The bad guy from Civil War is in it.
Okay.
So from Captain America Civil War, the one guy who lost everyone in Sokovia and got Iron Man to almost kill Captain America. So anyway, so they made this movie, but apparently Paramount is having severe financial fucking problems. So what happened was the old executives and CEOs left Paramount, and the new executives and CEOs said, okay, we are kind of hurting right now, so this is what we're going to do. We're not releasing anything. If there's anything that's going to be coming out, just push it back, keep pushing it back. Now let's gather all of the films that have been released. We're going to line them up, and we're only going to release them if they're going to be a hit. So they had all these movies, and they're like, okay, this film might be a hit. We can release that. This film's not going to be a hit. This film, I don't know, it might be a good art house film, but this film isn't going to be a hit. So Paramount had like a handful of films, maybe like 2 handfuls of films, a bowl of films.
Yeah.
That they didn't think would be a success at the box office. They're like, what the hell do we do with this? Meanwhile, Netflix is just desperate for any new shit.
Yeah.
So Netflix said, you know what? We'll buy that third Cloverfield film off of you. So they bought it, and then they released the trailer during the Super Bowl with the announcement that it will be released immediately after the Super Bowl. And so, of course, once I saw that, I went on Netflix, and it said the Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah.
This film will be available after the game.
Okay.
Really weird. So now people are watching the Cloverfield film, and now they're like, oh, okay. So this is the third one? I mean, like some people like it, some people are like, eh. If anything, it has a really exciting release, which I've never seen before. And number 2, I imagine that 1 billion trillion people saw it after the Super Bowl. Like, that's really good advertising.
Yes. Yes.
But,
they probably would have suckered me in with that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I could definitely see that happening. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was like, yes, Cloverfield has a following. I don't think Cloverfield has this kind of following.
If anything, because a lot of people are shitting on this new Cloverfield film right now, the one thing that it has going for it is that when it was thought up and when it was created and when it was filmed, it was a Cloverfield movie, as opposed to J.J. Abrams seeing this film that they're about to film with John Goodman and Ramona Flowers.
Yeah.
Being trapped in a basement and saying, hey, I could turn this film into a Cloverfield film.
Yeah.
Because that was 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes.
At least this one is like from the beginning to the end. This is going to be a Cloverfield film, and it does explain maybe 1 or 2 things from the Cloverfield universe. Yeah. If anything, it's kind of a prequel.
Like who Superman is.
Yeah. Now, so the shakeup at Paramount, there's a number of casualties to the whole Paramount restructuring. One major one being that they were in pre-production on a big budget Friday the 13th reboot. But now not only is the reboot dead, but it looks like Paramount is done with the Friday the 13th franchise.
Really?
Yeah. Friday the 13th. Yeah. Paramount's just like, oh no, we're done with Friday the 13th movies. I imagine that if you really look at the numbers, when was the last time that the studio made money on a Friday the 13th movie?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's
probably
just
a long time ago.
That just reminds me. I was looking through some tutorials last night. I forget for what exactly. And there was this one that said, make Freddy's mask. And I was like, the fuck? Jason had a mask. Michael had a mask. That was just Freddy's face, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That was not a mask.
Yeah.
Until
So
I found out it was Five Nights at Freddy's.
Gotcha. Bella would have gotten that one. So what is the future of Jason? I think it's obvious. Disney. Jason teams up with Magneto to take on the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. It might sound stupid, but excuse me, Jason X? Jason takes Manhattan?
Jason,
you know who also took Manhattan? The Muppets!
The Muppets, yes. And they took
Jason
it first.
took Manhattan. So in other news, in sports news, some important sports news, in some earth-shattering sports news.
Yes.
I'm officially watching the WWE again.
Really? Okay, what happened?
Specifically, I am watching, or at least trying to watch, NXT, their low-rent rookie division in Training Ground. NXT, oh my God, some real cheap-ass quality. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is a real cheap show. The quality is about the same as watching Ring of Honor on channel 64 on UHF, like early ECW. I thought it would have more quality because it's the WWE, but whatever. So the reason why I'm watching NXT is because NXT tapes in advance. They tape 3 or 4 weeks in advance. And literally about 5 days ago, a guy at an NXT taping filmed about 30 seconds of an NXT show that featured Ricochet's in-ring debut.
Oh, okay.
Ricochet as in Prince Puma, as in the champion of Lucha Underground. And he's like, hey, here's footage of Ricochet making his in-ring debut. His finisher is sick. And I'm like, yeah, he's been doing that on the El Rey network since like 2015, you sons of bitches. So now I'm watching NXT, trying to get into it so I can at least know who these people are when Ricochet comes. I got to start watching this shit, so I'm watching it. So here's some more news, and this is really odd. So DC Comics has for a while now been giving gritty reboots to Hanna-Barbera characters.
Really?
Yeah, there's a comic book called Scooby Apocalypse.
Okay.
And I'm being 100% serious here. It's a gritty Scooby-Doo reboot. It's set in the future, and they're trying to survive like the zombie apocalypse. It looks all futuristic and badass and yeah, real weird. So that's the Scooby-Doo one. The Flintstones comic book is trying to redo what the Flintstones originally did, which was, here's a cartoon and it deals with 1960s ideals and stuff, except it's on prime time for adults. And so now the Flintstones is trying to be, it looks realistic. So it's a realistic looking Fred Flintstone and Wilma and all that. And they are in the Stone Age, but they're dealing with current issues.
Yeah.
So much so that some magazine gave the Flintstones the designation of 2017's most woke comic book. Like in the recent issue, the women leave on a vacation, and so Fred and Barney are hanging out together, and they realize they come to realize gender inequality. So it's a real it takes a real hard look at current issues. Then there's like the team up one, and it's this team up one that it's like a super group with Space Ghost, the Blue Falcon, and Johnny Quest.
All right.
And they're together in a team fighting bad guys. It's really weird. Well, now, and I'm not lying here, there's a new comic book that DC Comics is coming out. So and again, this is all Googleable. You can Google all of this. Now in the comic books, Snagglepuss
Okay.
is a gay playwright in the 1950s.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. So that's the comic book right now, and he's rubbing elbows with like famous people and like, I don't know, Hemingway and shit.
Yeah. And they all
Really
respect the snag.
Yeah. Really weird. President Trump is busy rounding up all of the illegal immigrants. Man, it's about time a president had the guts to round up all of these illegals that are causing crime and doing damage to America, stealing all of our jobs. Of course, I'm talking about all of these damn Irish people.
Yes.
And I'm serious. Trump is rounding up Irish people. Like literally, Trump just went to ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, and said, "Hey, do whatever the fuck you want." And then ICE is like, "Really? Cool. We're going to just start rounding up everyone." So it's not just that they're rounding up all of these like Somali refugees and all of these Mexican immigrants, but literally like, "Oh, hey, John O'Shaughnessy. You've been here for 32 years. Sorry, back to Ireland with you." I heard some article on NPR, and it's so weird to hear this, like, for all accounts, American guy.
Yeah.
And he gets sent to, like, this immigration detention center, and there's, like, 12 Mexicans over there, and there's 2 Somalis, and there's 1 Ethiopian, and then there's 4 Iranians, and there's 2 Indian guys, and then right in the middle is 1 redheaded guy. One redheaded white guy. And it's really sad how we're rounding up just all of these illegal immigrants, and it doesn't matter if they are criminals or not. You're illegal, and that's a crime enough, and you're going back to your own country. But it's like, you've been living here in America for so long. It's like if I was sent to Mexico.
Well, for me, first off, they're not deporting a hell of a lot of people. Okay? Yeah. And the ones that are getting deported, they make the news. Okay?
Yeah.
All the rest of them are sitting in a pay-for prison.
Yeah.
As slave labor on our dime. So you take a taxpayer.
Yeah.
You know, and then make that taxpayer cost us money somehow.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. How odd too that oh, you're also rounding up the white illegals. I didn't know you were doing that. Oh, all right then. Finally, in response to both the GOP and the Democrats, just to let all of our listeners know, Bunny and I will soon be releasing our own memo.
Yes.
Which will detail how it will go into detail about the deep state conspiracy that exists between Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, George Soros, Paul Giamatti, and the evil Davos globalist Baskin-Robbins Illuminati Circuit City Obama lizard people. Finally, the truth will come out.
Yes. And about fucking time.
Yeah. Interesting fact, every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings, but inversely, every time a minority says deep state conspiracy, and Alex Jones gets erect. Not only every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Also, every time a bell rings, a Kurt Angle gets his neck broken.
Did he get his neck broken again?
No. But he was one of those dudes that you could just drop directly on his head and his neck could break, and then he'd keep wrestling.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Eleanor?
I don't fucking know. She's tired. She kept poking at me. Didn't ask. I know what she wants, but she won't ask for it, so she's gonna get fucked. She's not gonna.
Oh, she's going to Amber now, her other mom. Eleanor loves frickin' Amber.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Well then, Bunny, we still have a bunch of stuff to cover here. We still have to talk. We still have to do some singing. I've got some singing coming up.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about Nick Nolte and Jim Ross and Vacations. We're going to be talking about the 1970s, Johnny Cash.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about the show Jackass and Ethiopian music.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about the Sega Saturn and Saturday Night Live. We have a lot to talk about. But before we get to any of that, maybe we should take a break. Should we take a break?
We should take a break.
Well, let's take a break. We will be right back with more of the Pope on Film after these commercial messages. Do 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 and break.
Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way.
We saw this with our own eyes, an object the like of which we had never seen before. A frightening, strange shape descending from outer space with relentless purpose. Where did it come from? And what did it want of us?
Hello! Hello! It's an aircraft, all right, but like nothing I've ever seen before. Hello! What do you mean? Hello! It's like something from another planet.
Do not try to follow me. You cannot get help. Around this house, I've drawn an invisible wall through which no one may pass.
Here is a news reporter with a world-shattering story. A girl trying to escape from her past. The scientist trapped in spite of his knowledge. And here also is the barmaid, hiding a murderer's secret. A murderer with a life already forfeit. And introducing the devil girl from Mars herself.
Get back or I'll fire.
You fool.
Get back! Shoot, man, shoot!
Cradled within the arms of the rivers Ganges and Brahmaputra to the south, and the mysterious plateau of Tibet to the north, majestically stands the mightiest mountain range on the face of the earth, the Himalaya. This is the story of an expedition to this rugged barrier, not to assault on its windswept, towering heights, but to find and study plant life, which had heretofore been unknown or inaccessible. This is the story of that mission, of how a small group of people found themselves in pursuit of a crude and primitive civilization, which once only existed as a figment of the imagination. departing from Los Angeles, California. And after careful study of the region, the first leg of the expedition took me to Bombay, India.
And we're back with more of the Pope on Film. Well then, Bunny Galore, let's talk about books.
Let's
you see,
talk about books.
People always say, hey, Steve, how do you and your wife keep the spark in your marriage? To which I say, spark? I remember the spark. That was so long ago. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever something. And two is also a number, and I probably should have looked up the lyrics before. People also
But you're
say,
not far off.
Okay, good. I figured I was in the ballpark. People also say, hey, write what you know. And what I know is that having long hair sucks when you live in Oklahoma where the wind keeps messing with your hair.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 2 songs so far in the opening to Notes from the Bookstore, and that's impressive.
Yes, it is.
So far we've had 2 numbers. Like wow, that's not usually the sort of screw it, let's go for 3. Rock! Steady, steady rocking all night long. Rock, steady, rocking till the break of dawn. And what I also know is that I have been a loyal and hardworking and over-exaggerating employee at my local bookstore for over 17 years now.
My God.
And that is a long time, 17 years. But 17 is still pretty darn young, you know?
Yeah.
In fact, if I was 17 years old, then there is no way that I would know this. Black velvet in that little boy's smile. Black velvet in that slow southern style. 4 songs. Boom.
There we go.
And as such, I really do have my fingers on the pulse of the book world, and I am here to rub my fingers consensually upon your dainty ears with this week's astoundingly bland installment of Notes from the Bookstore. And this week's episode of Notes from the Bookstore is brought to you by Nick Nolte's new autobiography. Nick Nolte has a new autobiography out.
He does?
Yeah, he totally does. It's entitled Bleh!
I was thinking it may be entitled I Wasn't That Drunk.
No, it's entitled Bleh! It's the story of how an attractive young man can become America's leading fuggo. The title actually comes from the noise you make when you see Nick Nolte now.
Oh, okay.
You go, let me just Google image search Nick Nolte now. This shouldn't be that bad. I mean, he was really handsome when he was younger. This can't be. The title comes from. So, Nick, really excited to have you here on the set. So, in this film, they're going to be playing a washed-up alcoholic. And let me just say, wow, the makeup department did a really amazing job. Actually, I haven't been to makeup yet. Oh, Jesus, what happened, man? Did you run over an old gypsy woman? Is that what happened? Because I hear that's what happens. Now there's now there's a lot happening at your local bookstore this week. I have a lot of things to cover. I want to talk about last week's wildly uncomfortable story time. I want to talk about an upcoming book signing that we're going to be having. And I want to talk about the concept of vacations. But first, I would like to take up a sizable portion of our podcasting time to crap on Mr. Jim Ross.
Okay.
Jim Ross!
WWE's Jim Ross?
Yes, Jim Ross, a.k.a. good old JR, as he is known in the wrestling world.
Yes.
He is a legend in the world of wrestling. He's in the WWE Hall of Fame, along with Donald Trump. He is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes.
My favorite picture from the last women's march is a guy that just says remove with a sign, and it says remove Donald Trump from the WWE Hall of Fame now. I'm like, yes, there you go. I am a big supporter of that cause. He's a legendary announcer, Jim Ross. His voice is basically embedded in the mind of wrestling fans, so much so that if you find someone and they watched wrestling, then there's a good chance that Jim Ross's voice is a part of that person's memories.
I would believe so, yes.
Yeah, so like 1994 to like 2005, he was the voice of professional wrestling. And so many memories of wrestling just have his voice wildly over exaggerating in the background of them. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold Steve Austin! And then there's also good God Almighty, he's broken in half. Like that's another one.
It's a slobber knocker.
Yeah, he had his own little catchphrases and stuff like that. I also remember when WCW was fighting with the WWF, and so they had a match, and it was two Mexican wrestlers, and it was a pink slip on a pole match.
Okay.
Whoever loses the match gets fired from WCW, and they got one of the backstage guys to do a Jim Ross impression, and he moved like one half of his mouth, and it was really like they went way too far.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you know what we should do? What I think will really get people to watch our show? Let's make fun of a stroke victim. This is ECW in the year 1998.
Yes.
So he actually wrestled once or twice, Jim Ross. Even though he was like a big fat guy who at one point in time had a stroke, he would occasionally have these like wrestling matches or be forced to wrestle, like a Vince McMahon is pissed at Jim Ross, so he forces him to be in some wrestling match. Anyway, one positive aspect of watching professional wrestling throughout most of my life is that one thing I had in my pocket moving here, I already knew the OU fight song.
Yes.
Because when Jim Ross would come out to wrestle, his theme music would be the University of Oklahoma fight song. So I already knew it. That was kind of cool for me. But he's more than a voice. People in Oklahoma know him. First off, he is also a New York Times best-selling author. His cookbook did very well back in the heyday of wrestling in like the late 90s. But people in Oklahoma, they know this person, even people who don't know wrestling. First off, he has a very successful barbecue sauce.
Yes, he does.
He sells it on his website, but it also is carried at every Norman, Oklahoma homeland supermarket.
Is it?
Yeah. And it's weird because like I was talking to someone about Jim Ross's new book that had come out called Slobber Knocker, and then I'm talking to this person. This person doesn't know wrestling, and then finally the person goes, "Oh, doesn't he have a barbecue sauce?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's the barbecue sauce guy." "Oh, okay." "I used his barbecue sauce all the time." "That's good barbecue sauce." So besides being a wrestling legend, besides being a New York Times bestselling author, besides having a successful barbecue sauce, another big way that people in Oklahoma know him, he is one of the main financial backers for the University of Oklahoma football team.
Okay.
He went to the University of Oklahoma. He lives in Oklahoma. He lives near the University of Oklahoma. And everyone in Oklahoma takes their college football way too fucking seriously.
Yeah.
So everyone loves football. And so he financially backs the OU football team. He is usually right there in the field on the sidelines with the coaches and the players. He's only ever missed 3 or 4 games, and those have been because of major health reasons and surgeries and shit. Even when like he had WrestleMania on a Sunday, he'd be flying to Oklahoma on Friday nights, going to the OU football game that Saturday, and then flying to wherever to do WrestleMania.
That's sounding like an unhealthy obsession now.
Yeah, the guy is like, even if you know absolutely nothing about about the WWE and you live in Norman, Oklahoma, you still probably know Jim Ross. He's a big man in the world of college football. And I remember he was on the cover of like OU Football magazine, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Jim Ross is on the cover of OU magazine." Really weird. It was like a 10-page interview too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a big name in Oklahoma. Jim Ross.
Yes.
And he lives where? In Norman, Oklahoma. In fact, this guy lives about 15 to 20 minutes away from where?
You.
My bookstore.
Your bookstore. Okay.
So he had a new book that came out right before the holidays, and it's an autobiography about his life in professional wrestling, and it's called Slobber Knocker, and it came out, and we had it on our Octagon on sale, 20% off, and we had it in the front of the store, and it was a big deal. And so they announced that he's going to be doing a book tour and a book signing, and so he came and did a signing.
Really?
Yes, at a store in Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
About 45 minutes away. And I was so pissed because he literally lives like 15 minutes away. He lives in the same goddamn city.
Yeah.
He's right here. So I kept bugging him on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because he's on Twitter a lot. Yeah, and he retweets people who he's on Twitter all the time, like promoting his barbecue sauce, promoting his books, talking about OU football. So I'm like, "Hey, Jim Ross, here's a picture of the 40 copies of your book that we have at your local bookstore."
Yeah.
And I bugged him over and over and over again. He never came in. He never showed up. And the thing is, too, is that I've actually seen him in my store before shopping.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't bother him because I've had a couple of various levels of celebrities come into the store, and I always try and be nice to him and then leave him alone. So it's like, that's Jim Ross. That's cool. I'm going to leave him alone. But that was before he had a best-selling book in our store.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you can come in and sign a couple of copies, or at least if you're having a signing, we're right here.
Yeah.
We're literally a stone's throw away from the college. And you spend all of your time there with the freaking football team. You can't come over and sign a couple copies of the book. So I'm sorry to have to say this, but to hell with this guy.
Okay.
He never signed any copies of the book. He had a signing super far away, and so the books weren't selling, and we had to return. a bunch of copies of the books. I don't even think we have any copies anymore because that book came out in October, November? Book is gone now. You had your chance, Jim Ross. SOB. I am done with this man.
And we'll never interview him on the show.
Yeah. That's probably the worst sting.
No
right
matter
there.
how much he begs.
Yeah. No matter how much he begs and pleads, no, we're not interviewing him. You don't get the Bunny and Steve experience.
No.
Can't believe this man. So, Bunny.
Yes.
Last week, I had a story time.
Yes. That you were quite anxious about.
Yeah. Because I was reading the book, I Am Harriet Tubman. The day before, I went on, because I have a number of Facebook groups. Now, this group, they're all closed groups, but this book was just for people who work for the company. And then I'm part of this other group of people who work for the company and they're in charge of the children's department. I'm not in charge of the children's department anymore, but I stay in that group because sometimes we talk about story times. And then I'm part of a group of people who work for the company and they're in charge of the receiving area, and they really help me out a lot. But I went to the children's department group and we were talking about so what are your plans for story time this Saturday? Because I hate to say this, but I'm a bit nervous because the book is a really messed up book. I glossed over the part where Harriet Tubman was so poor that she started selling her clothes and panties.
Okay.
I'm like, call me crazy. I don't want to be talking about a woman being so poor she has to sell her own panties at a story time in front of 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very interactive person. What am I going to be like? Hey, kids, have you ever been so poor you wanted to sell your panties? Show of hands. Show of hands. So I glossed over a few things. One person in the group mentioned a nice tip where it's like, I'm going to just be reading the words and not the word bubbles because the characters are talking to each other. And then there's the words on the bottom of the page. So I said, okay, that's a good plan. That'll make it a little bit less bad if I don't read the word bubbles. So I'm reading the book and halfway through it, the kids are just sitting there and they're all depressed and sad. And they're all kind of really depressed listening to me talk. And one of the kids is just looking all sad and kind of scared and oh. Hey, Mr. Steve, you're not reading the word bubbles. And I'm like, and then
which one was it?
It was an older boy. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is a long book. I'm not reading the word bubbles because I'm trying to.
I know a guy. That kid, totally gonna be kneecapped.
I kept trying to I was interrupting the story constantly to try and cheer the kids up because it's a really messed up book that has to deal with slavery and racism and violence. People are getting whipped and beaten up and stuff, So I was constantly trying to interrupt the story and cheer the kids up, but I powered through it. There was one black mom in the audience, and I did not spend all of the story time nervously staring at her.
Am I getting it right? Am I telling it right? Is there something I'm missing?
I may have spent some time nervously staring at her, but not all of the time.
Yeah.
That's the important part. Not all of the time. So, Bunny.
Yes.
We're having a book signing coming up. I don't think it's this weekend. I think it's the weekend after that. But anyway, we have a book signing coming up. It's for an author of a new series of chapter books. Now, I'm going to try and not mention the author's name.
Okay.
Or the name of the series. Because it's a real small printing. It's a small publishing company that I never heard of. And it's a small-time author. This is definitely not a big author. you'd probably have better luck winning the lottery than finding these books on a shelf somewhere. So I don't want to publicly shame this guy. If this were a big time release,
Yeah.
by Penguin and Putnam or Scholastic, some big company like that, then I would be more inclined to publicly crap all over this guy.
Okay.
But as it stands, I don't know this guy from a hole in the ground, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to mention him. That being said, if you really, really wanted to find out who I'm talking about, you probably could. You just need to do some work. Anyway, we're doing this book signing. It's for a series of 4 chapter books for younger kids. It's a series. As far as I can tell, it's kind of like the Magic Treehouse series, which is a popular series of chapter books. But it's like someone saw the Magic Treehouse books and said, "Hey, you know these really popular chapter books here, the Magic Treehouse? Well, what if we get those and just redo them for redneck children?"
Oh no!
So it's about 4 young kids in the Wild West getting into adventures, and they looked kind of cheap, kind of low rent, these books. So I decided to pick up one of the 4 books and read it, and I'm really excited about this signing now.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a real big success in Oklahoma because book 4, these beautiful young white kids have to deal with an evil Mexican bandit.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you what his name is. Let me tell you what the bad guy's name is. You know what his name is?
What? Esteban.
Macho Nacho.
Oh.
Get it? Because he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Nacho. He's got a long curly mustache.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a very dirty poncho. All of the pictures in the book feature his really dirty poncho. So many stains, this dirty poncho.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm just like reading into things. Maybe, this is a really sensitive, nuanced characterization. I don't know. I haven't read the book. So I decided to read a few chapters of the book, specifically when Macho Nacho shows up. And first off, everyone calls him Senor.
Okay.
Boss of the gang. His real name is Guillermo.
Okay.
He speaks in broken Spanglish like "Vamos, chicos, let's go." And here's the best part. Here's the part that really got me. Like I was like, should I like tell my store manager about this? No, I don't want to like play a race card or like there's nothing here to really be offended by.
Yeah.
With Macho Nacho. Like, I'm just going to let it drop. And then finally, I get to one passage where one of the kids says, "Gee, that's the shortest outlaw I've ever seen."
Okay.
That's when I'm like, okay. So this book is making a point of mentioning how the Mexican guy is short?
Yes.
Now you've lost me. Also, they keep mentioning that he has he's a real hothead. He's got a big temper. Of course, all of those Mexicans have a fiery Latin temper, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the shortest outlaw I've ever seen. Thankfully, the gang of white kids defeats the evil, angry Mexican, and at one point in the book, the white kids stop a stampede with a fiddle version of Cotton-Eyed Joe.
With what?
With a fiddle version of the song Cotton-Eyed Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this signing now.
Yeah.
A big fan of Macho Nacho. Can't wait for this guy to come into the store. Maybe I should find a dirty poncho.
You should.
And like a sombrero. Come because I don't want him to look at me and be like, is he Mexican? No, let me really point it out. I'll wear my taco costume.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, that's great. I'm just going to wear my taco costume the day of the signing. That's perfect. Boom. Taco costume.
I agree and I support this.
Good. I'm absolutely going to do that. Yes, Maxwell. What? Yes, I know Supernatural started. Sorry. No, I try to, but it's, I have a long podcast. Anyway, finally this week, Bunny.
Yes.
Vacation time.
Yes.
I get about 2 weeks. Right now, I think next year I get 3 weeks. Next year I get 3 weeks of vacation time, and then the year after that I get 4 weeks of vacation time. Anyway, last year I didn't use any of my vacation time.
Really? Okay, good.
I did not take a vacation at all. Well, actually, it would be good if it wasn't for the fact that recently the company has decided that for a while, it was like a save as you go sort of thing, where any vacation time you don't use will go into the next year. We're not a company like that anymore. If you don't use your vacation time, you lose it.
It's use it or lose it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the company that we are now. So last year, I didn't use any of my vacation time, and I lost it. And the reason for that was I was waiting for my other receiver to come back from the war.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I haven't taken vacation time, but don't worry, because my other receiver is coming in because I shared the job with someone. And I'm like, it's okay. He's coming back. When he's coming back in like May, when he's coming back in like March, then boom, I can take some vacation time. Oh, wait, he's being pushed back until May? Okay. In May. When he comes back in May, then I'll be able to take some vacation time. Oh, wait, now it's being pushed back until August? Okay, well, once he comes back in August, boom, I got vacation time.
Yeah.
So he comes back at the end of August, and then, oh, look at that. He's got 2 weeks of vacation time. Okay, well, then he's coming back in September. Sometime after September, I can take vacation time. What? He just quit? Well, screw that guy. So I just ended up not taking vacation time last year. So this year, I'm absolutely going to take a vacation. This year, my wife is dedicated to me taking vacation time.
Okay.
And the reason is because of Supernatural.
I kind of figured, but how?
My wife gets this might come as a surprise to everyone who is a longtime listener of the podcast, but sometimes my wife can get stressed out. Yeah, that's a shocker. So my wife went on vacation to the Supernatural convention, and when she came back, she was like a different person. She just said, "Oh, it was like a reset button. I just got away from the kids, got away from the house, got away from the bills, the family, just everything, and I got to just spend some time in a situation that I love, and it was great." And Steve, I want the same thing for you. You're very stressed out. You didn't take a vacation last year. You're very stressed out with work and with everything. You need a reset too. So she's 100% dedicated with making sure that I take a vacation. So we even scheduled it. So I finally got it through the store manager, and she's like, well, I guess we can give you this vacation time. And I said, yeah, were you here last year when I didn't take vacation time? And she's like, really? Okay, no, I'll give you this whole week. I'll even give you a few more days. No, you're good. So I have this big swatch of time that I'm going to have off.
Good.
It's during everyone's spring break time, too. It's during the kids' spring break time and Natasha's spring break time. So Natasha can stay with the kids, and I can just go off. Plus, we'll be getting a real big tax refund, so we can afford to send me somewhere. The only problem now is, where the hell do I go? I have no idea where I'm going on vacation. First off, it's going to be alone by myself. That I don't mind. That's fine. The one place I really want to go to is Walt Disney World, but that's a bit too huge and maybe even expensive. I mean, we're getting a tax return, but not that much of a tax return.
Yeah.
So don't think I can go to Disney World. I would like to go to Disneyland.
Have you considered Dollywood?
No. But I would like to go to Branson, Missouri, because I would like to go look for the to look for the Fountain of Youth, which I believe it is there somewhere, or at least that's what the Mormons think.
Uh-huh.
No, the Garden of Eden. That's what they said.
The Garden of Eden. Okay.
Branson. What, Maxwell?
Or to go to Legoland or
Legoland and Lego World are very much for younger children. It's something I would take you to, something I would take Eleanor to, but not something I'd be excited about going to on my own. The only reason I would want to go to Legoland is because of the foam Lego pieces that you can play with in the pool. They have Lego pieces you can play with in their pool, and they float, so you can use these Lego pieces and create things while you're swimming.
Cool.
Like, oh, look, I created this raft out of Legos or whatever. Anyway, but no, Legoland and Lego World are not on the table if it's just me. Walt Disney World maybe, but that's a bit too huge. I've never been to Disney World, and I would feel more comfortable growing with a group of people. There's always Disneyland, and it's been a long time since I've been to Disneyland. When I lived in Arizona, I would go like two or three times a year.
Yeah.
And I knew Disneyland, and I loved Disneyland, and I knew all the trivia, and I knew where everything was. It's been so long now, I don't even freaking know anything about Disneyland. But I have gone alone to Disneyland before, and it's a bit lonely as hell. But then again, the last time I went alone to Disneyland, the internet didn't exist.
True.
So there's that. I could go to Vegas, but Maxwell, earmuffs. There's a woman in Vegas, and she's had the hots for me for a number of years. And a couple of times a year, she always messages me like, "Hey, when are you gonna come to Vegas so I can jump your bones?"
Okay.
She's like super serious about this, and it's like, I don't know if I want to go to Vegas. That would be so much fun. See the stupid tourist sites, hang out around the strip, get drunk, get into weird Hunter S. Thompson adventures, and also Las Vegas is the home of the Pinball Hall of Fame and Museum, which is just a short couple of blocks away from the strip, and I really want to spend all of my time at the Pinball Hall of Fame and Museum. But I don't think I can get to Vegas without getting jumped by this woman.
Yes.
Okay, you can earmuff yourself. Then there's Arizona, but then I think I would kind of sort of have to see my parents.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I can go to Arizona without seeing my parents. You know? There are people I want to see in Arizona, but I think I'd have to see my parents, and that's a whole can of worms. So the whole idea of the vacation is a big question mark right now.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go somewhere, and I can afford to go somewhere, and I should go somewhere, and I can go somewhere. I just have no freaking idea where I'm going.
There've got to be a lot of really cool places.
Yeah. Yes, Maxwell, there's somewhere that I should go. Where should I go? And don't say Legoland or Lego World. Where should I go?
I know this place.
You know a place. What's it called?
It's called
Pirate World? Because that theme park closed down a long time ago. It was the ice cream bunny's fault.
Yes.
Come here, Maxwell. Come here. Stop walking around. Come over here and talk to me. What place do you think I should go on vacation?
I know.
Okay, then tell me.
Okay. University.
You mean Universal Studios?
Yeah.
If I went to Disneyland or Disney World, then Universal Studios would probably be included in that. But I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, so it would more be I'm going to a Disney theme park and I will visit Universal Studios. I don't think I want to just go to Universal Studios. Anyway, Universal Studios I don't like the beach. It's like the water's always freezing, even when it's the frickin' summer. And like, even if you put like beach towels down, you get sand everywhere. And I have too much OCD to be okay with that level of sand. And I was once at the beach and I got stung by a jellyfish and it hurt like hell and I was crying. And then of course my parents didn't freaking believe me, and so I'm just there in pain and my legs all red and they don't believe me. And my brother's making fun of me. So it was a whole freaking thing. Anyway, I don't like the beach.
Yeah.
So I got into this I was
not
like
sure why.
Yeah, so I was your age, Maxwell, and I just hated the beach, and I didn't know what to do there. And my parents would literally get there at like 8 a.m. and not leave until like 8 p.m. We literally spent our entire day at this beach, and I wasn't sure what to do because I didn't like going into the water. So what I would do is I came up with this weird idea in my mind that birds, okay, hear me out, birds have the entire sky. So what the hell are these birds doing walking on the beach? Humans just have the ground. You have the whole frickin' sky. So go and use it, you stupid birds. So I would just chase birds all day at the beach. I was like this weird kid where it's like, hey, don't you want to go swimming? No, thanks. I need to scare these birds off of the beach. This is my job. That's how weird of a kid I was. And I would just spend like literally just a whole day just chasing birds off of the beach. And it was so weird to see this one Mexican kid fully dressed chasing birds off of a beach that by the end of the day, most times I would have like 3 or 4 other kids that were working for me.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, Steve, I'm going to go chase this one over here. Good. You go chase that one. I'll patrol this perimeter. So if I went to the beach, I would be a 40-year-old guy
chasing birds
off of a beach. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they throw you in jail for that now. I would go to a mental institution. But those were all good ideas, Maxwell. Thank you for your ideas. Okay, those are all really good ideas. I forgot about Universal Studios. So I don't know where I'm going on vacation, but I've got a while to think about it. Anyway, yes, Maxwell?
I have my own vacation place.
You have your own vacation place?
Yeah, you could like go.
Well, I have my own laughing place. Everybody has a laughing place.
Well,
I would like to take this time to say that was a reference to a racist Disney animated movie. Your room? I love you, Maxwell, but I'm not going on vacation in your room. I like the way you're thinking. It's kind of adorable, but I'm not going to take my vacation in your room. But thank you for the offer. I might take you up on that one of these days. Anyway, that is it for Notes from the Bookstore this week. And remember, boys and girls and gender rebels, you too can save 10% on all of your purchases. And all you have to do is get me 2 things. Okay?
Okay.
2 things.
2 things.
Number one, you need to get me some obtainium.
Okay.
Some unobtainium.
Yes.
I'm not sure how hard it will be to obtain.
Piece of cake.
So just FYI, I'm not sure how hard it is to get unobtainium. And number 2, I need you to go out there and get me pictures of Spider-Man. He's a spider menace, I tells you. That wall-crawling webhead. That was pretty good. I like that.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. Anyway, cut on that. Why don't we take a little break in between segments? Because I got to put this little guy to bed.
Sure. We can do
that. Okay. We will be right back with more of the Pope on film in the 1970s. We're going to the 70s after these commercial messages. Stop kicking me, Maxwell. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Sleep bop a doo wow.
It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13.
God, I love Michael Ironside.
Hey, sorry that took so long. Got distracted on my phone. I was playing a new game.
Yeah? What's that, Frank?
Oh, it's like whack-a-mole, but with penises and glory holes. And you just like whack the penis back into the glory hole so it doesn't, yeah.
You're leaving us? Ma, I told you he's going to Harvard.
College? You know, college is a scam, right? They're dum-dums.
Yeah.
The pH level is a 5.
And ain't bad.
It's worse than urine.
I guess this happens with pools sometimes.
Crystal Manacucci wants you.
Thank you for the ride. It was slightly faster than walking.
That's the name of my rickshaw company. Slightly faster than walking.
Instead of going, Disney World.
We got fast passes.
You gotta cut the umbilical cord. This is going to be the best last weekend ever. We're never gonna die.
No regrets. Except the herpes. That I would not do all over again. So put a hat on your bat, okay? Put a condom on your penis.
You are the worst group of lifeguards. Can someone tell me why 20 of our lawn chairs were in the pool?
Believe we had a hurricane last night? Okay, remember, ABC. Always be safe.
We are still gonna have this party. And not just for us, for all the lifeguards that have ever worked at Great Kills.
Let's get to work.
All right, let's see some IDs. Yeah.
Hey, you guys want to hold a real police gun for a second? Don't worry, the safety's on. Oh wait, hold on. Now it's on.
My name is Freeze. Learn it well, for it's the chilling sound of your doom.
This is the way the world could end.
Please, show some mercy.
With ice. With a kiss.
With venom. I probably should have mentioned this. I'm poison. Poison ivy.
And the only man who can stop them.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
Can't do it alone.
Batman will watch his beloved Gotham perish.
Bundle up, boys. There's a storm coming.
Kill the heroes!
It's the hockey team from hell.
Cool party.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
All right, everyone, chill.
George Clooney.
Julie, I'm not the marrying kind.
I know you've had your wild nights.
Good night. Wild doesn't quite cover it.
Chris O'Donnell.
I want a car. Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone.
Uma Thurman.
So many people to kill, so little time.
Alicia Silverstone.
And you are?
Batgirl.
That's not awfully PC. What about Bat Person?
Found the Batcave.
She knows who we are. Guess we'll just have to kill her. Yep.
In a Joel Schumacher film. Strength and courage.
Partners?
Honor.
Partners.
And loyalty.
Partners.
It all comes together.
We're going to need a bigger cave.
Batman and Robin.
And we're back with more of the Purple Show. Hey, Bunny, guess what?
What?
No, you have to actually guess.
Nostril hair?
Hey, man. Hey, soul brother. My main man. I've had vibes, Dirty Harry. Don't bring me down. Bruce. Such a spaz. Take a chill pill. Relax. Have a drop of the soft stuff. Use the force. Keep on trucking, man. Can you dig it? Just chill, man. Be cool. Catch you on the flip side. Sit on it, Potsy. Nixon now more than ever. I know what you're thinking. Did I fire 6 shots or only 5? I am not a crook. Add 70s reference here. Because you see, Bunny.
Keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking.
You pinball wizard, you.
That's another good one I should have put on there. It's homework time yet again on the old Pope on Film podcast. People of the internet, your attention, please. Cease your reaction videos and kindly pay attention. A large part of this podcast I secretly base on the old MTV sock puppet show Syphil and Ollie.
Uh-huh.
The joy of Syphil and Ollie was that it would have a lot of... It was very repetitive in that they would have a lot of the same segments. And in those same segments, they would do the same things but differently each time.
Yeah.
Like they would have Precious Roy, their fake QVC type show where they would sell something, and one character would mention something and the other character would say, "Oh, you know the problem that I've been having with blank," and then the other character would say, "Yeah, you have some serious ass blank problems," and they would always try and do it a different way each time, but it was the same thing but different.
Yeah.
That's what I base large portions of this on.
Okay.
I'm doing the same thing, but it's got to be different. When it comes to those little bits, my family helps a lot. Like, for example, this morning I was like, "Hey, guys, give me something from the 70s. I need 70s references. Come on, guys." So, people help me with these things. And
how would they know?
Natasha helped out a little bit.
She's like the only one who would be able to help out, I think.
Natasha said, "I am not a crook." And Emerald said, "How old is Star Wars?" And that's when I put "use the Force." Yeah. Take a chill pill, Blackula. I forgot Blackula. Each week, the dreaded Council of Daddy Farts selects a homework assignment via the fiery Ritual of Carousel. Yes. A homework assignment that has been painstakingly chosen with the expressed purpose of bettering our listeners, nay, people everywhere, but not you, naysayers.
That's
Oh,
right.
wait. I just said nay. Nay, people everywhere. Oh, snap. I just excluded myself.
Uh-oh.
I accidentally just recused myself from this homework assignment. Oh, well. And this week...
So on to the movie.
Yeah. This week we are headed to the 1970s with a full episode of the mind-numbing, testosterone-dropping, sperm-sterilizing 1970s variety show, The Hudson Brothers Razzle Dazzle Show.
Yes.
The Bear. That's my favorite part.
It was so nostalgic for me. Because I remember I used to watch this show.
Yeah?
So memories were coming back.
Yeah.
And I was a kid. Leave me alone. What the fuck?
Oh, that's wonderful. The Hudson Brothers. What a bunch of shit faces.
Oh my God. One of the shit faces though, because they had their extras, you know? One of them, the one with the sandy colored, he kind of looked like the middle brother, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He had sandy hair, it was shorter, and he had a mustache. I could swear that's the Unknown Comic.
Oh, maybe. I'm surprised
because I had seen him once.
I've seen a number of variety shows before, and I don't remember other variety shows having this many credited cast members.
Yeah.
It's the Hudson Brothers, and also 14 more people. That was kind of surprising.
Yes.
There's a lot of people like rolling down that little factory thing in the beginning, the opening credits. I'm sorry, but what was so special about these guys that just screamed, "They deserve a television show"?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. I don't know why they should be known for anything.
The one thing about working in the receiving department at work is that I'm always listening to my own music.
Yeah.
And after a while, it just kind of gets a bit boring and repetitive. And so I brought a radio in there, and sometimes I listen to the radio stations just so I can get something different instead of hearing like my music over and over again. Yeah. So one thing I started doing is I set up a playlist on YouTube of music and music videos and stuff. And so I just put on YouTube. I did that yesterday. I just put on YouTube, and then a bunch of music videos and stuff that I chose started playing on my phone, and that was a nice distraction. And also there's a visual connection to it that I like. And anyway, I was looking for full albums on YouTube, and there's a surprising number of full albums on YouTube. And I found an album. I haven't listened to it yet, but one of the Hudson Brothers albums is available on YouTube.
Oh God,
no. And I'm like, fuck, I'm desperate for music. What the hell? So I just added that in my list of music, and I haven't gotten to it yet. I'll probably get to it Friday or Saturday if I continue on my YouTube.
I think there may be an extreme danger in you getting to it. That's what I'm worried about.
It just seems like, I don't know, like it would probably just be bland adult contemporary 1970s music. Like Caribbean Catalina Breeze from Documentary Now is what I imagine every song would sound like. And going to the movies. That's my favorite episode.
Yes.
From Documentary Now. Love that so much. So I think the mere existence of this lame-ass show is a prime example of the outright hideousness of 1970s variety shows.
Yes, I would think it's a good example. Now, keep in mind that this one is a children's show.
But that's the thing. It didn't start out that way.
No, it did not start out that way.
That's so absolutely weird.
It
So
was,
anyway,
it was a replacement for Sonny and Cher.
Yeah. So let's discuss this. Variety shows came at a specific time in America. TV was growing in popularity. More and more people had TVs in their homes. TV became just a staple. Everyone had a TV. Everyone was getting more and more TVs, and there were more TV stations and more TV networks, and they needed cheap new content. And there were two cheap supplies of cheap television content that TV stations and networks could always count on to both fill time and be cheap as hell. Professional wrestling and variety shows.
Yes.
Variety shows were cheap. They were simple, they were easy to make, and they featured the world's most broadest comedy. I haven't seen this broad comedy since Jay Leno's Dancing Itos. Dancing. Yeah, his Dancing Judge Itos.
Oh, I missed that, I think.
Have you guys heard about the O.J. Simpson trial? Of course you have. That's what 80% of all of my shows are going to be about for the next year and a half. The O.J. Simpson trial. So yeah, he had the Dancing Judge Itos. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I'm so happy that I lived to see the day that Jay Leno left television.
Yes.
Because oh man, he was just everywhere for what seemed like so long.
Too long. And my God, to replace Johnny Carson? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
No.
Sad.
No, you're so wrong.
Yeah. And because it is a variety show, that means that pretty much anyone can host one.
Yes.
You don't need to be a good actor. You just have to be able to read a few cue cards in front of a cardboard-looking set. Fuck, Johnny Cash had a variety show, for fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, Johnny Cash's variety show was amazing, if for no other reason. Johnny Cash loved Andy Kaufman.
Did he?
Yeah, the Johnny Cash show had Andy Kaufman on all the time.
Really? I didn't know that. I would have placed the Johnny Cash show earlier in time.
Nope. It may have been like 71, like in the early half of the 70s.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I would like to take this time to say I'm very excited about Andy Kaufman right now because there's a graphic novelist, and he has this really weird, simple style of artwork, almost like highly detailed stick figures. But anyway, his name is Box Brown.
Okay.
And he I didn't know about him until I read his last graphic novel, which was a detailed look at the history of Tetris.
Okay.
And you might think that it's impossible to write a detailed graphic novel looking at the history of fucking Tetris, but oh my God, this man did an amazing job. And it was the Russian intrigue and the world of early days of video games. And it was just absolutely amazing. And I was blown away. So then I went to see what else this guy did. And it turns out that before Tetris came out, he wrote this lengthy graphic novel about the life and times of Andre the Giant.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, how did I not know about graphic novelist Box Brown before? Oh, well, I'll be sure and keep checking our book search system to see what new graphic novel he has coming out. And holy crap, this year he's releasing a new graphic novel. It's called Is This Guy For Real? The Life and Times of Andy Kaufman.
Oh, wow.
And I'm so excited for this guy and his weird art style to be doing the life story of Andy Kaufman in a graphic novel form. Seriously, his look at Tetris was amazing. It's such a good job. about the history of Tetris. So anyway, I'm really excited about Andy Kaufman right now.
Yeah.
So there were so many variety shows out there in the 70s. The Smothers Brothers, Johnny Cash, Glenn Campbell's Super Fun, Happy, Good Time Alcoholism Show.
Yes.
Hee Haw, Donnie and Marie, The Midnight Special. Again, The Midnight Special had Andy Kaufman on a couple of times.
Does the Midnight Special count? Because that was a music show.
I think so, because again, Andy Kaufman came on and he did a bunch of comedy stuff on there, and like Tony Clifton shit, and one of my favorite things that Andy Kaufman ever did is he came on the Midnight Special and he sang a song, but the only line was "I trusted you."
Yes,
one of my favorite things he ever did. Just I trusted you, I trusted you. Just that for like 3.5 minutes. And it's so great. Tony Orlando and Palmolive.
Yes.
Oh, no, wait. Dawn.
Yes.
I was really close. I was in the ballpark. Captain and Tennille, the Jacksons, Shields and Yarnell. That goddamn Brady Bunch.
Yes.
I want to just slap each and every one of those. Frickin' Brady's that were on that horrible frickin' show. And of course, who could forget what was probably the most popular reality show of all time, Super Funtime Express, starring America's #1 sex symbol, Peter Falk. How did the theme song to that go? It was sung by Peter Falk.
Yeah, it was sung by Peter Falk. It was, it was something like, welcome to the Super Fun Time. Super Fun Time.
How you doing?
Comedy show. Something
We're
like
gonna
that.
do some fun stuff, and let me just ask you a few questions.
It made the top 10.
Yeah. So where did the variety show go? It was killed, murdered
by the radio star.
No, by NBC.
By NBC?
Specifically, it was killed in the 1980s by NBC president Fred Silverman. He saw a news story about Japan's biggest band. And so Fred Silverman, the man who is also responsible for almost destroying SNL.
Yeah.
So thanks. So Fred decides, oh, if this is the hottest band in Japan, then I can just literally pick these two girls who have never spoken a word of English, drop them in the middle of Hollywood, and create America's hottest television show.
Oh.
Pink Lady and Jeff is now widely considered one of the worst TV shows in America, nay, in the world, and it killed the variety show. Now people still occasionally try and bring it back. Sorry, Neil Patrick Harris, it's not happening. Although I really did like Maya and Marty.
Maya and Marty. Huh?
It was only on for a season like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, but it was Maya Rudolph and what's his name? The church lady.
Dana Carvey.
No, then I'm thinking of the wrong person. No,
David
Ed
Spade.
Grimley.
Ed Grimley. Martin Short.
Martin Short, yeah, Maya and Marty. And it was the two of them together, and it was skits, and then they'd have a musical guest and a special guest, and it was just really, really funny, and I really liked it. But no, it was a variety show. And variety shows are not coming back. SNL was a bolt of lightning.
Yes.
That hit an albino penguin. Happened once, and it's just, you can keep trying to bring it back, but it's not going to come back.
Yeah.
So, the Hudson brothers.
Yes.
They were allegedly huge in the 70s.
I wouldn't say huge. You know who says they were huge in the 70s?
Huh.
The Hudson brothers. They say that.
Yeah.
They weren't huge.
First off, let me say that life was really hard in the 1970s.
Yeah.
I know I was born in the late half of the 1970s, but I remember it perfectly. In the 1970s, the internet was so slow.
Oh God.
That people didn't even use iPhones.
It was like barely existent.
Yeah. It took so long to upload anything on Instagram in the 70s that people just didn't even use Instagram. Just to even like load onto View, like talk about uploading a picture.
Yeah.
Oh, that would take like months.
Well, to really let you know how slow it was, I tried uploading a picture from Lidsville. Remember Lidsville? And it finally uploaded in 96.
Yeah. Crazy. Absolutely insane. I still have pictures of Suzanne Summers that are trying to download.
Yeah.
Vanna
White.
Yeah. So the Hudson brothers, I sure as shit have never heard of them before. They didn't have number one hits, but they sure as shit had a number of number 20 through 189th place hits.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't think they ever came within sniffing distance of a hit of any kind.
Well, to be fair, Steve Martin's King Tut was a hit. Technically.
Did the Hudson brothers write that?
No. But the Hudson brothers can't be as bad as Steve Martin's King Tut.
Oh, I see.
I'm just saying, compare and contrast.
Yeah.
So in 1974, the Hudson brothers get a TV variety show on CBS. It ran in prime time from the end of July to August of the same year.
Yes.
And so then in the next month, September, they got this variety show for adults, and they ran it fucking Saturday mornings. Really? Oh, this Breaking Bad show? No one's watching it? Well, here's my pitch. The Breaking Bad Wowie Zowie show.
Ah.
We add a bear. Starring Walter White. The teenage kid. The bear.
The bear.
And that's this show. First off, the majority of the commercials that are on this specific YouTube full episode that we watched are just old ass commercials that someone put into this video. They're not the actual commercials that aired on TV.
Really?
Yeah. It looked like someone just during the commercial breaks just went on archive.org and picked a bunch of old toy commercials. Because here's a commercial from 1972. Here's a commercial from 1978. Here's a black and white commercial. Here's a commercial in color from 1979. So yeah, no, they're all over the place. And so when I realized that, like near the end of the episode, it kind of upset me, but whatever. Secondly, I love these fucking opening credits so fucking much. I am constantly saying the bear, and no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Like it's weird that I'm constantly making references to the opening credits of the Hudson Brothers Razzle Dazzle show, but that's just how I roll.
And you are probably the only human on the planet doing so.
Yeah. And his amazing Australian emu.
Now that guy I remember very well because he did a lot of different variety shows and talk shows and things like that at the time, and it just took the Hudson brothers for him to land a steady gig.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this show is shit.
This show is shit. Yeah.
But
it's fun when you're a kid.
Yeah. But it wasn't about the show. The show is shit. But I wanted to talk about the world of variety shows. That's some interesting shit, you know?
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff. I was rooting for Neil Patrick Harris because I'm like, oh, somebody's bringing back variety shows again. Wow, what a surprise. I'm sure this is going to survive. Oh, wait, it's Neil Patrick Harris? Oh, he's one of America's most beloved gays.
Yes.
If anyone is going to succeed, it's either going to be him or Wayne Brady. And so, yeah, no, Neil Patrick Harris. I'm rooting for you, but no, it didn't happen. People don't want variety shows anymore. But nice try.
Good effort.
Yeah, good on you.
I'm gonna have to look that up and watch an episode.
Yeah, Maya and Marty is really good. And Neil Patrick Harris, he did all right. It's not the best, but there's one skit on there which is now a very famous meme.
Yeah.
Where he goes to the doctor and his doctor is what's his name? The guy who played Captain Hammer.
Nathan Fillion.
Firefly. Nathan Fillion. And so they just do a bunch of puns to each other.
Yeah.
Like so Neil, how are you feeling? I'm feeling horrible, doctor. It's really cute. Anyway, someone turned it into like a little comic strip where they're both passing these puns to each other, and now it's a meme. I keep seeing it over and over again. And they're referencing shows that they've been on, and it's like, yeah, this place really does feel like a castle to me.
Oh God!
So again, world's
that
most
sounds like a shame, and maybe I should not go look it up now.
But Maya and Marty, they had some funny ass skits.
I would have a hard time because I never liked Martin Short.
But I loved Maya Rudolph.
Yeah.
And so Maya Rudolph kind of cancels out Martin Short because I was never the biggest fan of Martin Short either. But Maya Rudolph cancels him out.
Okay.
Because Maya Rudolph is freaking amazing.
He would definitely need a canceling out force.
Yeah. That's why I really like this show. And also
Jiminy Glick, fuck you. That was some of the most boring.
God. Fucking forgot Jiminy Glick. Fuck Jiminy Glick. I was never into any of that at all. Fuck. I'd totally forgotten Jiminy Glick until you put him back in my freaking head.
Sorry, man.
Jiminy Glick. And it's like, Martin Short's like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to invent my own Dame Edna.
Yeah.
Just someone that's loud and abrasive that can have his own fake talk show. Yay! That's what America needs. He had a movie. I did not see that movie.
He had a movie? He
had a
in
movie.
movies.
There was
the
a
Jiminy Glick.
movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Never bothered to see that. But the Maya and Marty was like a summer show, so it featured some of their cast members were people from SNL.
Yeah.
Like so it really did feel like a summer SNL, like a diet SNL.
Okay.
Like a 0-calorie Saturday Night Live with lemon. So I liked Maya and Marty, but yeah, it didn't go anywhere. And sadly, that is it for homework this week, and we sincerely and legitimately these are hard to do. We honestly hope that your hearts, minds, and urethras have all been suitably opened. But don't think you're getting out of here that easily, bucko. Don't forget next week's homework assignment. And for next week, we are looking at MTV's Jackass. Specifically, Jackass and its aftermath. Because Steve-O is 43.
Yeah.
Johnny Knoxville is 47 or 48. They're all old now. And what's the name of that guy? Bam Margera. He hasn't been the same since his best friend Ryan Dunn died in a car accident. He just had a DUI maybe a year ago. We'll be looking into the history of Jackass, but primarily what has Jackass done to them?
Okay, good.
We were all seeing them when they were super young, and now they're getting all older, and it's interesting to see what has happened to these men. The answer is in a really good article from page6.com. I will send it to you. In fact, I got this right in front of me. Open up Firefox. Skip over all of the hentai porn. And Andy Kaufman. The article is from page6.com, and it is called Jackass Left a Wake of Pain, Arrests, and Addiction.
Okay.
Inside the Dark Shadow of Jackass. I'm interested in this because, watching Jackass back when it was on TV, everyone is laughing at these guys, but I was one of the few people going yeah, you laugh now, but what's going to happen when you're 55 and you have this hideous mark on your arm from the botched tattoo that Henry Rollins gave you?
Oh, God.
You really got to think about the future of these people. How are you all going to look when you're 60?
Yeah.
Beating yourself up like that. So I'm interested to see this article, and that is homework. Next week, Jackass. So be sure and join us next week for more homework with the Pope on Film podcast.
Bob's tough. Bob's ambitious. Bob knows exactly what Bob wants. If that makes Bob a bitch, Bob's okay with that.
Thank you for doing that.
The haters always say, Tonya, tell the truth. There's no such thing as truth. Everyone has their own truth.
I was the best figure skater in the world at one point in time.
You call that a clean skate? Stop talking to her. That girl is your enemy.
Who's that?
Jeff was my first date ever. And my mom came.
You need to see a wholesome American family.
I don't have a wholesome American family.
Nothing's ever your fault. I was embarrassed for you.
My entire life, I've been told I wouldn't amount to anything. And you know what? Maybe I would.
4.8.
How do I get a fair shot here?
We also judge on presentation.
We're gonna need to even the playing field. I know a guy, shouldn't even be saying his name. Derek.
The press wanted me to be the pile of crap. I never did this. What is going on?
We're with the FBI.
They know something.
What can you tell us about Tonya Harding?
I don't know a Tony Harding.
Aren't you her bodyguard?
When I was a kid, did you ever love me?
I made you a champion, knowing you'd hate me for it. That's the sacrifice a mother makes.
You cursed me. America. They want someone to love, but they want someone to hate. I mean, come on. What kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that to a friend?
back with more of the Pope on Film. I botched that intro because Natasha's boob was slightly
My boob is nowhere near a jar. I have a bra, I have an undershirt,
a bucket.
And then I have another shirt.
I know, but the shirt is slightly raised in a way. Why did you let her in?
Scream it.
Eleanor, you want to say hi to Bunny? I'm doing the podcast. It's Bunny. Say hi, Bunny. That's Bunny saying hi to you. Say hi, Bunny. Eleanor, will you do me a favor? If I give you $1,000 and this crowbar, will you take out Bella? She said yes. She said yes. She's going to take her out for me. That's good. That's good. Well then, Bunny.
Yes.
This week we are once again discussing this year's Oscar-nominated films, award winners. 2 weeks ago, we discussed The Disaster Artist, which was a leading contender for the Academy Awards until its writer, producer, director, and star was accused of perversity.
Yes.
Making the entire film worthless. Wow, this film could be up for Oscars. Oh, wait, the star did something bad? Have fun with that Best Adapted Screenplay nomination, Disaster Artist. Now, this week, we're watching a film that is up for 3 Oscars, 2 for acting and 1 for editing, which I think it deserves. This film is... I really like movies that break the fourth wall. I like movies where characters are talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this film does it really well. I especially like when she's training for Lilyhammer in the Winter Olympics and she's going through the woods carrying stuff like in Rocky IV and her coach literally looks at the camera and says, yeah, she actually did this. You know, I really liked that. I like fourth wall breaking.
Yeah.
So this week's film is set in the year 1994. And, you know, a lot happened in the year 1994.
A lot did happen in 1994.
So,
how old are you?
Let's fucking rip on it. I am not playing this game with you, Natasha.
How old are you, Steve?
How old was I in 1984? I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old.
17, young.
And
what is
let's just say you were also. Let's just say you were.
Graduate high school.
Let's say you were also around about 17. And let's just drop it, okay? Why you gotta do this to me?
I love doing this to you.
I know you love doing this to me. Is this how Bunny feels when I ask him to like sing a song on the podcast or something? Is this how you're putting me on the spot? Is what you're doing. Anyway, the year was 1994.
Yes.
In the year 1994, the worldwide music phenomenon known as Britpop was replaced by another regionally specific musical subcategory, Ethiopia jazz.
Oh.
Most of the music was about how the musicians didn't have enough food.
Yeah. And Ethiopian jazz hands is not nearly as funny.
Yeah. And then Ethiopia jazz kind of went by the wayside until it was saved in the movie La La Land.
Yes.
Also, in the year 1994, Nelson Mandela became the first South African black president to appear on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, I remember that well.
Hello, yes, I want freedom for my people. Also, I would like a vowel. In 1994, oh, honey, I forgot to tell you, Eleanor and I watched a lot of Rick and Morty today.
Yeah, she does that.
Yeah. In 1994, Art Dimension's Kurt Cobain killed himself, sending shockwaves throughout the citadel of Cobains.
Yes.
And causing a massive fight for power within the Council of Kurtz. In 1994, the movie Shawshank Redemption wowed audiences About 5 years later, when it played constantly on cable, in theaters, no one gave a shit about The Shawshank Redemption. For reals, it's important to note that The Shawshank Redemption became popular when TNT realized it had to fill 24 hours of cable television. Oh shit, I guess we can just, I don't know, play The Shawshank Redemption 5 times a day.
Like that guy, what's his name? He'll play David S. Pumpkins in the future.
In 1994, Michael Jackson married Elvis's daughter, and they spent 2 years trying hard to pretend to be in love.
I know.
What?
And it so wasn't working.
What the fuck was that about?
It was a publicity stunt.
Well,
part of it was also trying to prove that Michael Jackson wasn't gay.
Yeah. And also I read a book that said that the whole thing was a publicity stunt, that Lisa Marie Presley married him by force in an attempt to get the world's most famous musician to become a Scientologist. And that's what the marriage was about. That at least on her part, that sure, Michael Jackson is, oh yeah, I'm marrying this woman. We're going to make out in the MTV Music Awards. See, I'm not gay. Meanwhile, Lisa Marie's like, I don't want to marry this weird, creepy dude. You have to. Can you imagine what would happen if America's most famous musician became a Scientologist? You have to marry him.
And obviously, they were the publicity, because they're like, you're Lisa Marie Presley. You're the princess of rock and roll.
Yeah.
And so the king of pop and the princess of rock and roll. It's a American royalty.
Yeah.
Oh, I was 10. Shut up.
You're really beautiful. I just want you to know that.
Thanks.
I'm not just saying that because of what you're wearing.
Thanks.
You're a beautiful woman. Don't give me that face.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Trying to give you the same face. It's not playing well in the podcast because the podcast is more of a verbal medium. Maxwell was going to show Bunny one of his action figures, but then Maxwell stopped and said, the thing in my hand is Rhino. And then he explained,
audio description?
Yeah, for the first time ever.
Oh, audio descriptions on the podcast.
Yeah, he finally started to realize, oh, they can only hear me. Well, I was like, I'm so proud. Maxwell.
It took how long?
Yeah. In the year 1994.
His socks under my pillow.
Oh, surprise!
Was the hit song.
Man, No Doubt was amazing. That was back when they were still ska. Boxes of... Why is there a pair of Maxwell songs under my pillow?
You're not doing ska very well.
I know. I complicated things because this is what I was originally going to say. In the year 1994, boxes of chocolates were ruined for life. Thanks, Tom Hanks. You've ruined boxes of chocolate now.
He did. And he hates the Portuguese, which they still don't think is fair.
Not fair at all. In the year 1994, the Sega company, the Sega Corporation, released the Sega Saturn video game system, and it was the early favorite in the world of next generation video game consoles. People were saying, man, the Sega Saturn will no doubt be here forever. Not like that lame-ass new PlayStation. Boo! That will never last. Funny thing about the Sega Saturn, you know how you can burn a CD?
Yeah.
Well, the Sega Saturn, their games were CDs, and people found out that it was fairly easy for them to just download any Sega Saturn game and burn it onto a CD and then pop it in their Sega Saturn, and they're playing a video game for free.
Cool. I
Throughout
was not aware.
Yeah, throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, every stoner I met had a CD folder with every Sega Saturn game in it. Yeah, and also a Grateful Dead Blacklight poster, but primarily a CD folder with Sega Saturn games. I saw many a stoner play Fishman. I believe that was the name of the game. It was literally just a fish with a human's head that you interacted with like a pet.
That sounds creepy fucking weird.
No matter how I describe it, it's creepier. Because there was like a headset that came with it, and you talked to the fish, and it talked back to you, but in this deep, creepy adult voice, robotic adult voice.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest fucking game. And
I'm like retroactively terrified now.
Yeah, no. It was a weird fucking game. And in 1994, there was, what would you call it? A glitch in the Matrix, a disturbance in the Force, some third thing.
Yeah.
Because for one small point in time, everyone in America was watching women's figure skating.
Yes.
That was like the most popular thing in the world. Like everyone was tuned to their televisions to see what was happening in the Olympic Women's Figure Skating Championship. It was like the finale of MASH on fucking steroids. It's like the Seinfeld finale was wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. The most important thing in the world was fucking women's figure skating.
Yeah, but this was the first time ever that professional women's figure skating had a really good chance of a fight breaking out.
Yeah.
Like just a fist fight. And that's why I watched it.
Yeah. It was some weird ass shit. Like you could even be at a bar and everybody would be like, shut up. They're talking about women's figure skating. Oh shit, put it up. Women's figure skating. Some weird ass shit. And
that kind of reminds me of there was kind of a big concert Atlantic Records put on for their 50th anniversary or some shit like that. And Led Zeppelin was gonna like reunite for it.
Huh.
So I was watching it part to see Led Zeppelin, but I was also part watching it because I was hoping Debbie Gibson would crash and burn.
Yeah.
Like this is the first time she has ever played in front of this many people. I wanted to go. I wanted her to go full Cindy Brady, you know, and just have to be dragged off stage.
Yeah. So that is what this week's movie is about. The 2017 dark comedy biopic, award-nominated, award-winning film, I, Tonya. I'm still not 100% sure if I really like this film. I've watched it twice, and I'm still not sure. I'll tell you, everybody in the movie is acting the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure if I like it.
I'm going with I liked this movie, but really have no urge to ever see it again.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know?
Now this podcast is weird, so let's just skip right to the end of the story, okay?
Okay.
No, that's like the middle of the story. That's the weird part. Because I remember some of this story, bits and pieces of it, but I definitely remember what happened from the end of this movie onward.
Okay.
And the main reason why I remember this the way that I do is because I don't have the world's best memory.
Yeah.
And also, I don't have the world's greatest memory. Also, I haven't said this on the podcast before, but I don't remember things too good.
Yeah.
But I have an astounding goddamn memory when it comes to Saturday Night fucking Live.
Yes.
So, Nancy Kerrigan is attacked, right? Some loony nutcase, or in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man-ese, some kind of nut job or wackadoo. He stinks, and I don't like him. So she's seen as a victim, while Tonya Harding was just this uncultured, uneducated redneck.
Yeah.
Nancy Kerrigan was like the savior, princess, heroine, and she was just automatically beloved. Like, no one knows anything about Nancy Kerrigan. Who's Nancy Kerrigan? I don't give a crap. She was attacked. Oh my god, I love Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
What's Nancy Kerrigan gonna do? I'm so excited to see Nancy Kerrigan succeed now, and Tonya Harding fail, even though you didn't really know anything about either people. Suddenly you're like, oh, well, now I can watch women's figure skating because there's a hero and a villain.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to watch figure skating and root for Nancy Kerrigan and boo Tonya Harding. Okay, let's all watch figure skating now. So she was attacked. Her attack was all over the news. Suddenly, Nancy Kerrigan is America's hero. She goes from being attacked to winning silver in the Olympics. And what does she do on the podium? I was so happy when this movie pointed it out at the end, near the end of the film. She wins silver, a silver medal. She's the number 2 women's figure skater in the world.
Yeah.
And she fucking pouts and sneers on the podium like someone just shit on her grandmother.
Yes.
But that wasn't all of it. Nancy Kerrigan also had a temper tantrum because the medal ceremony was very late. They had to wait for the medal ceremony to begin. So she starts complaining about the gold medalist, Oksana Bayul. She actually said, and it was recorded because it's the fucking Olympics, she said, oh, come on. So she's going to get out here and cry again? Like, they thought that we were all that everyone was waiting because Oksana Bayul wasn't coming out because she's a bitch and how dare she? Let's just come on, let's do this already. When in fact, the Olympic people didn't expect Oksana Bayul to win and were struggling to find a copy of the Ukrainian national anthem pre-internet. It's not the internet. You can't just download the fucking Ukrainian national anthem. They're like, oh shit. We never expected Ukrainians to win gold in anything. Oh shit, someone get me the Ukrainian national anthem.
But they would still have to have it in a box somewhere.
I don't know. They're looking for
there.
all the boxes, I guess.
You know, it's there somewhere. It just hasn't been used in so long.
Oh shit, we just brought the American and Russian boxes.
Yeah.
So someone find the Ukrainian box. So she throws a temper tantrum before the medal ceremony. That's recorded. Yeah. And there's proof of it. And then she gets up on the podium and she's sneering all bitchy on the podium. But that's not the kicker. Okay? Yeah. Next was fucking Disney World.
I remember Disney World. That one.
So there's a ceremony at Walt Disney World and this big parade for all of the American Olympic medalists, all the people who went to the Winter Olympics and won a medal. There's this big American ceremony. So she's at Disney World and she's in a big parade and there's a number of people there, Olympians, a bunch of people there, sure, but everyone has come out to see Nancy fucking Kerrigan because that's all anybody's been talking about for like the last 3 months. So she's there and she's on camera and she's wearing a mic because it's a Disney parade. So they wanted to turn it into a TV special or a commercial or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And Nancy Kerrigan is quoted as saying, "This is so corny. This is so dumb. I hate it."
Yes.
She was the world's most famous person ever in 1994, and she blew it by being super bitchy. But that wasn't the final straw.
Yeah.
The final straw was March 12th, 1994. Season 19, Episode 15. Nancy Kerrigan hosted Saturday Night Live with musical guest Aretha Franklin.
All right. Okay.
Now, it's always a train wreck when sports people host SNL.
Yeah.
It's always a train wreck. Get out of here, William Refrigerator Perry. Oh, yeah, you're hosting because everyone thinks you have phenomenal comedy chops, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Get out of here. By the way, I'm excited to say that SNL is on hiatus right now because of the Winter Olympics, but they'll be back in the beginning of March with host Charles Barkley. That should in no way be a horrible train wreck, because why the fuck is Charles Barkley hosting?
Yeah.
Is he hosting because it's 1995? No, it's not 1995, so there's no reason for frickin' Charles Barkley to be... Anyway. Nancy Kerrigan... Yeah. Nancy Kerrigan's SNL hosting was one of the most awkward SNLs ever. Literally, Entertainment Weekly made a top 10 list of the most horrible Saturday Night Lives ever, and she tops the list. That's how bad this is. Nice. There is only one skit she does that is ever shown really again, like in the Saturday Night Live universe, and that's a skit where she is figure skating with Chris Farley.
Okay.
And it's not even that funny. They only show it because Chris Farley's dead. If Chris Farley was alive, they would never show this goddamn skit. But anyway, she does a skit, and it's the last skit of the night, where she makes fun of Disney World.
Okay.
And it's her, and it's a skit where, Nancy Kerrigan, we're so excited to have you here at Disney World. You won silver in the Winter Olympics, and that's just great. Now put on these goofy ears and hold this balloon and look into the camera and say, I'm a cute little baby, and whatever. She just goes, this is so corny. I hate it. And they keep having her do embarrassing skits, and it's like, okay, I wasn't sure about this before, but now it's official. Fuck Nancy Kerrigan.
Her time had run up.
It is now official. You're done. Fuck you, Nancy Kerrigan. There was a parade in your honor at Disney World, and you're being all bitchy about it. That's step one. But then step two is you go and host SNL a month later, and you write a skit where you hate being at Disney World. Fuck you, arrogant. Fuck you. Yeah. To be fair, no one remembers Nancy Kerrigan. I don't remember the last time I saw Nancy Kerrigan, but oh my God, Tonya Harding is always on True TV.
Is she?
Yeah, they have this show, World's Dumbest.
Okay.
It's a show called World's Dumbest, and it's like an hour long, and they show each episode is like themed, and then World's Dumbest Criminals, World's Dumbest Sports Celebrities, and it's like this weird clip show of like a found footage of people doing stupid stuff. But then what they do is they VH1 I love the 80s it.
Yeah.
And they get washed up celebrities to make fun of the videos. So it's not just that you're watching an hour-long compilation of the stupidest criminals ever, but you're also watching Todd Bridges and Danny Bonaducci ripping on them.
I can go for that.
But oh my God, Tonya Harding is on like every episode of World's Dumbest, and she's funny as hell, and she's just ripping on all these stupid people. And then she would appear on other like True TV shows too. Like I've seen Tonya Harding all over the freaking place.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying. I regularly see Tonya Harding, and I don't know when the last time was I saw or gave a shit about Nancy Kerrigan.
I can't remember the last time I've seen Tonya Harding. Or either one of them.
This movie ends with Tonya Harding having a boxing match, and they say that she became a professional boxer. To be clear, I Wikipedia that shit. She had 6 matches and won 3. That doesn't mean she became a professional boxer, okay, Hollywood?
Yeah. Yeah,
She
that
had
kind of fibbing it there.
She had 6 matches, and one of them was against comedian Doug Stanhope for an episode of The Man Show.
Okay.
So I don't think you can call her a professional fucking boxer, but whatever. So this movie. Let's talk about this movie. Did you like it? Did you really like it? Did you like? I'm so up in the air about this movie. I'm so up in the air.
I'm vague. Like I said, I liked it well enough, but I'm in no hurry to ever see it again. If I live out the rest of my life and I never see this movie again, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I liked it. And it's really kind of hard to say if I liked it because I liked it or if I liked it because it was so fucking nostalgic.
Yeah, that's a difficult part for me too. The music was so on point.
Yeah.
The soundtrack was freaking amazing. And there's always music and it's always on in the background and it's all so freaking good. And I just loved it. And most of it's from like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Except for like I really like the soundtrack, but then there's one part that's in slow motion and they're playing The Chain from Fleetwood Mac, and I'm like, okay, no, Margot Robbie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 already owns this song for me.
Uh-huh.
You're not taking The Chain away from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
No.
Specifically the scene.
How dare her even think she can?
I had a conversation with Natasha about this just the other day. When I was in high school, I loved the song "Hooked on a Feeling."
Yeah.
And the reason was I was such a huge mark for Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
So I remember being in like high school and college going, man, Hooked on a Feeling. I love that song from Reservoir Dogs. Whenever I hear the song Hooked on a Feeling, I will always think of Reservoir Dogs. And then they used it so good in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
That now, whenever I hear Hooked on a Feeling, my brain tries to go to Guardians of the Galaxy, but I go, no, think of Reservoir Dogs. And then my brain's like, no, fuck you. I'm your brain. We're going to Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm like, no, god damn it, go to Reservoir Dogs. That was first. But then my brain goes, no, but you barely hear the song. You just hear the Hooked on a Feeling as Nice Guy Eddie is driving to try and get the diamonds back. It's barely used, but it's used so powerfully in Guardians of the Galaxy because the blue guy is listening to the headphones and Star-Lord tries to get the headphones away. That song belongs to me. And then he gets tased and then he gets hosed down. And the whole time Hooked on a Feeling is playing. And it's just a more powerful use of the song in Guardians of the Galaxy. So anyway, that's exactly how I felt when I heard The Chain in I, Tonya. And I'm like, no, that song is the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where Star-Lord and Gamora and Drax leave Rocket and Groot behind to go see Peter Quill's dad, and it's all in slow motion. Are you trying to get people to hate you? Because it's working. Slow motion, and The Chain is playing, and boom. I'm taking The Chain, Tonya Harding.
You can't have it.
No, you can't. The problem that I had with the movie I, Tonya is I found every character in this movie to be a fucking horrible person.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. I'll totally give you that. They were.
I wasn't rooting for anybody because they all sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tonya Harding a little bit because of the abuse she had to deal with and the beatings, and she's constantly getting punched and getting just tore the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for her and her horrible home life, but I also felt like, I don't know, she's also just horrible. She's also just a horrible person. And I was rooting for no one. And so I thought that by seeing I, Tonya, I'm like, will they paint Nancy Kerrigan as like a bad person? Will they paint her as like a good person? Because I remember watching this unfold on TV and really rooting for Nancy Kerrigan. But then I watched the movie and I got to the end and I'm like, oh shit, they hardly showed Nancy Kerrigan.
They hardly even bothered with it.
How the hell did they make a Tonya Harding movie without hardly ever showing Nancy Kerrigan? You know?
Yeah.
That's like the movie And God Spoke, when they're like, oh, we can't use Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But see, just in the real world, okay? Whereas I did not like Tonya Harding, I didn't like Nancy Kerrigan either. And when I first saw the pictures of Tonya Harding in that pink outfit, which was in the movie, I don't think they really mentioned it though. It was like, yeah, and then you see Nancy Kerrigan, she's got this whatever, this designer fucking thing, and it's like, I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see why you might want to club her in the knee.
Yeah. I will say this though, I was a teenager in the 90s.
Yeah. And
shut up, Natasha. You yelled at me with your eyes. And I didn't like Tonya Harding, and I hated Tonya Harding, and I did not like Tonya Harding, and I hated it. And then I Googled it. Then Jeff Gillooly was so desperate for money that he sold their sex tape to Penthouse.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then Penthouse published stills from the sex tape and then released the sex tape. And I don't think Tonya Harding originally agreed to that, but they paid her enough money and she was so desperate for money that she said, okay, I'm not going to fight. If you're going to pay me, then I didn't okay this, but I'm also not going to say no because I need the money. And so her sex tape is just fucking out there.
Wow.
And it's like, I hate Tonya Harding. I hate Tonya Harding. I hate Tonya Harding. There she is sucking dick and riding a cock. I'm okay with Tonya Harding now. Because I'm like 17 years old and I'm like, I hate Tonya Harding. Ooh, I have suddenly made my peace with Tonya Harding. Because I grew up in the 80s when you were forced to, like, as a kid, like, oh, what am I going to masturbate to? Oh, look, an ad on page 4 of the newspaper of women in a bra. This'll do.
Yeah, this'll have to do.
This'll have to do.
The National Enquirer was pretty okay for me.
Yeah.
Not great. I'm not going to say any of it was great, but yeah, the National Enquirer, not bad.
Yeah. So, oh my God, I forgot the show Hard Copy.
Yes. Totally.
Basically, they were 1994's TMZ.
Yeah.
Basically, they were like Gawker's grandfather. Oh, yeah, I forgot how horrible they were. Yeah. Hard Copy. Is Inside Edition still a thing?
I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know. That's the one that Maury Povich was originally on.
Yeah. So Bunny.
Yes.
There was a question I posed last week, and it's probably time that we just dive into it. We did Suicide Squad in a previous episode of the podcast, and it is the way I described it was, I thought, brilliant. a massive explosion in a combination fireworks and manure factory.
Yes.
And sure, like suddenly a fire gets set in a combination fireworks and manure factory, and there's giant, massive explosions. And sure, you're going, ooh, oh, that's so pretty. Oh my God, look at that one. Oh, that's amazing. But it's still shit.
Yes.
It's pretty shit. It's beautiful shit, but it's still fucking shit. That was Suicide Squad. I specifically did not like Margot Robbie because, god damn it, her accent changed with every other scene.
Yes, it did.
You know what? We're going to fight these bad guys and have a good time. Hey there, Deadshot. Let's go fight these bad guys. Oh, hey, Mr. J. You're the Joker. I have a thing for you. I sure do have a thing for you. Like it just kept fucking fluctuating, and I just hated her. And she was pretty, but she was nothing else. And I'm like, no, Margot Robbie, you are done with me. So how did Margot Robbie do in your eyes with this movie?
None of the acting really killed me, so I'm gonna go a C.
I was blown away by it.
I'm gonna say serviceable.
I was blown away by the acting, so much so that by the end of the movie, I went, "Oh shit, she's Australian, isn't she?" Oh, she did a really good redneck. Good for you. Like I totally forgot that she's like this beautiful Australian supermodel actress. I had completely forgotten all of that, and I just bought into. Yeah, no, I would have seen her at the Dirt Bar.
Yes.
I would have seen her at the Dirt Bar. I would have bummed a smoke from her. Menthol.
Yeah.
It would have been menthol. Those were shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they would have been menthol. No, I totally bought into her. I really, really liked her. She did good. Better than I thought she was going to. But the person who really wowed me was Miss Allison Janney.
Who was that?
She played Tonya Harding's mom.
Oh yeah, the mom was you really wanted to kill her.
This is her second appearance on the podcast. She was the slutty best friend mom from Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh.
So if anything, this podcast has proven that Allison Janney has a history of playing amazing rednecks.
Yes.
The part was actually written for her by, and this is true, by screenwriter Steve Rogers, who somehow managed to have a very successful screenwriting career after the tragedy of being frozen in ice since the 1940s.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the one thing
that's just dedication to a craft.
Yeah.
You know.
The one thing that I heard about I, Tonya before I, Tonya came out was that I, Tonya is the Tonya Harding story as told by Tonya Harding. And I read some articles and some reviews, some newspaper articles that said, is this movie true? Is this movie false? It's true to the characters in the movie, and that's all that matters. And that just made me think, okay, I'm just fucking confused. But so I looked it up and I did some investigating, and apparently Steve Rogers wanted to do this movie after seeing a documentary about ice skating that mentioned Tonya Harding. So he went out and secured an interview with Tonya Harding, a long, lengthy sit-down interview with Tonya Harding in her kitchen, and also a long, lengthy interview with Jeff Gillooly in his house.
Yeah.
And apparently they now live super close to each other.
Okay.
Jeff Gillooly under a completely different name, and Tonya Harding is now married with a kid. They live literally super close to each other, but they've just never run into each other. But anyway, so Steve Rogers, the screenwriter, did interviews with the both of them, and then he's like, oh, well, shit, I wanted to make a movie, but these two people have two 100% different stories.
Yeah.
So how do I do a movie if these two characters have two completely different stories? But then he said, that's my gimmick.
Okay.
That's my in. I do a movie from both of their point of views. Yeah. So this person thinks this happened, that person thinks this happened. That's how I make this movie. And so, like, okay, I can kind of respect that, but there was a part of me that just had a problem with this. You know what my problem was. Okay, so Emerald was growing up, and she was reading like crazy, and so there was a book series, and it was new, and everybody was talking about it. It was selling like crazy, and I got her a copy of the book, a strip of the book. Okay. That's when it's a paperback, and we take off the cover and send it to get a credit, but now we have to destroy the actual book without the cover. So Emerald has such a huge, massive collection of stripped books. So I got her a stripped book for this popular new series. Book 2 had just come out, and it was really popular, called The Maze Runner.
Okay.
There are currently 5 books in the Maze Runner series. 3 books and 2 prequels. And at the time, it was a really popular book series, and I had heard that they were going to be making a movie of it, and I said, okay, I'm going to get the first Maze Runner book. I'm going to give it to Emerald. It's what everybody's reading right now, and she's going to love it. So I gave it to her, and like a month later, I'm like, hey, Emerald, did you like this book? Did you read it? And she said, no, I couldn't get through it. And I said, why couldn't you get through it? Everybody's reading this, and everybody loves it. And what she said was, oh, they all had Southern accents, and I just hated that.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can, I didn't understand that at the time.
Yes.
And I'm like, you're not going to read this just because they have Southern accents? But then I got to this fucking movie.
Yeah.
And there's like absolutely nothing in this film for me to relate to.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're a poor white person with a hard life. Oh, well, I have a hard life too. Let me tell you, I am a Mexican, so I also have a hard life. I'm constantly wearing a poncho that's dirty.
Yes.
Everyone calls me señor. Mm-hmm. Of course, I have to deal with my fiery Latin temper. And of course, I'm short, as are all Mexicans.
Yes.
So there was nothing in this film for me to relate to. And I'm like, oh, this is like Emerald and the Maze Runner. I totally understand this.
Ah, okay.
But I've seen it twice. I've seen I, Tonya twice now, and I might like it.
Yeah.
But it's just like you said. I'm not sure if I like this film because it's a good film, or if I like this film because it's a really, really fucking good time capsule.
Yeah, I find it very nostalgic. So that's got to be at least part of why I like it, you know. But it's like, oh, Lilyhammer, that's the one. Okay, yeah, I kind of forgot. I forgot Lilyhammer, you know, and all the little details that happened throughout the movie were all things I knew at the time, or a good chunk of it anyway.
There was a part of me where I was like yelling at the screen.
Yeah.
Because it's near the beginning of Lilyhammer's about to happen, and they're showing actual footage of like news broadcasters, and here's Connie Chung talking about Lilyhammer, and here's a young Matt Lauer talking about Lilyhammer, and I'm like, oh shit, don't harass women! Don't harass! You're gonna lose all of your money. Just don't harass chicks. I don't think he heard me though, because everything is still the same.
Yeah, well, you took that shot. You know, it was a good thing.
Yeah. So that's all I got for this week's movie.
That's all I got. You know, it also had for me a kind of a star 80 quality. For the same nostalgic reasons, like you know the story before it's a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I might have liked
it. And I think that they could be proud that it was a movie and not a movie of the week.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, because that story kind of deserves a movie of the week.
Yeah.
And not a real movie.
Yeah, it's impressive.
I don't think it's any kind of Oscar movie.
I definitely think Allison Janney might win.
Yeah.
For the mom, but I don't think Margot Robbie's winning. She's definitely not going to win if any minorities are also nominated.
Okay.
Because this is post #Oscar so white. So any minority has like a 40% more of a chance to win an Oscar at this point. So that brings us to next week's episode of the podcast.
Okay.
I have 3 lists here of movies for us to do. One is a short list of movies that currently became available on Netflix, specifically Ocean's 11 and Goodfellas.
Okay.
Really like both films. We won't be doing any of those. I also have a small list of films that I recently found on YouTube, specifically Better Off Dead and Motel Hell.
Nice.
Yes, but we won't be doing any of those. I also have a list of cough movies, a lot of which are award winners, some of which are stretches, including Lady Bird, Molly's Game, The Last Jedi, A Ghost Story, and House on Haunted Hill. I don't think Molly's Game is on there right now, but it will be. But we won't be doing any of those. Although, check the cough. Because this film is up for some Oscars, and I want to continue the Oscar road that we are on. And that's when I was thinking about Oscars, I realized that for whatever reason, there is a film that is up for a shit ton of Oscars that I just never got around to watching.
Okay.
And it's not because I'm racist.
Are you sure?
But I never saw Get Out.
I have not seen Get Out.
Well, we're doing it next week for the podcast.
Okay. I mean, I've heard good things about it. But
I felt the need to clarify because everyone was telling me to watch Get Out because it's an amazing film. It's a horror film, but it's a horror film sort of for minorities and for African Americans, and you really need to watch it. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a part of me that wants to watch it because it's an African American horror film, and those don't exist except for Tales from the Hood.
Yeah.
But also, so that's like 50% of me wants to watch it because it's culturally important. But another 50% of me says everyone in America is telling me to watch this film, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like if everyone, oh, you haven't seen The Sixth Sense? You got to see The Sixth Sense. I can't believe I haven't seen The Sixth Sense. You know what? I'll say I've watched it so you can get off my back because. Yeah, that was the one reason why I wanted to see it was because Fat Key and Peele made Get Out.
Yeah.
This is his first film, and he's up for Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Picture, Best Screenplay, Best Director, and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure if that's warranted. I'm pretty sure that you're up for these massive amount of Oscars just because of the #OscarsSoWhite campaign.
Yeah.
That the Oscars were called out for being super racist, and they said, "Oh God, we're not racist. Okay, we'll fire all these white people. We'll hire all these black people. Did you just make a film and you're black? Here are Oscars." So I really want to watch this film with those eyes and just be like, okay, does this film deserve this?
But now, if we don't like it, are we then racist?
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if we should do this film, but then what sold me is I read an Instagram post from SNL's Michael Che.
Yeah.
And he said, I can't believe that someone posted a bad review of Black Panther. I am super pissed about this because Marvel better not ruin Black Panther. To be clear, I've never read a Black Panther comic book.
Okay.
I know nothing about Black Panther. I didn't know he existed until 3 weeks ago. And also, I'll probably never watch the movie. I work nights, and I'm just a busy man, and I probably won't watch Black Panther, just like I didn't watch Get Out. I know I should because I'm black, and I've heard great things. It's just, I just don't want to watch it. I don't like horror movies. But still, they better not fuck up Black Panther, a movie I will never see. And it's like, there's something about that I really like, oh, good for you.
Yeah.
It's like you realize that you should see this, but also, I don't know, you just don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something about that makes me feel better about like, oh yeah, whether or not this is an important horror film for African Americans, if it's a film I don't like, I'm just not going to like it.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm going with this. Maybe that's just the fact that I recently read a difficult slavery book to 3-year-old children.
Yes.
But I'm feeling confident in my ability to watch Get Out and unobjectively review it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I can do this. I think we can do this.
I think we could do this.
So that is next week. Get Out, and for homework, we're looking at old versions of the guys from Jackass. That is next. What?
If you want to unobjectively look at it?
Is that the right wording? Objectively or unobjectively?
Objectively.
Objectively?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to look at it objectively. You don't want to look at it subject.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just not going to look at it. How about that? I'll just watch it.
That's going to make a really weird podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
I
let me
didn't
explain.
watch the film,
but I heard it.
Let me tell you about the dialogue.
Yeah, I heard it. So
that would be interesting.
Would be interesting.
I put on the audio descriptor.
Yeah. To be fair, Tom and I would always watch Jurassic Park with muted.
Yeah.
And we always found it interesting that if you can't hear the like stirring music and the British accent and the sound effects and the roaring of the dinosaurs, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really shitty movie.
You have a lot of
like
films.
without listening to it, it sucks. So I wondered if we could watch a good film with blind, if it would still be a good movie.
Blind or deaf?
No, blind. Like you said, if we just we just blindfold ourselves and we watch Star Wars.
That's funny because I was reading an online little Tumblr comic where one of them's blind and their friend is trying to describe the movie and they're doing a terrible job at it.
To be fair, that's why Netflix created the Netflix audio description.
Yeah.
And like, those are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Love those. My family hates the Netflix audio description. Although, to be fair, Bright is really fun and funny when you have a narrator to explain all the shit to you.
Yeah.
Definitely help you keep their names straight.
Yeah. They help. It helps you with shit.
A real blind watch. We could do that. I think that's an interesting idea.
But not this week.
No, not this week.
Not this week.
I mean, you don't want to be colorblind?
Oh.
That was nice. But no, we're going to actually watch
I'm a millennial, so I don't like labels.
Yeah, Bunny's a millennial. Bunny and I are always eating avocado toast.
Watch it, would you?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just going to watch it.
Yeah, I'll blind watch it with you.
Yeah? Okay. Cool.
But to blind watch, it would have to be something that we're really familiar with.
Yeah, no, it has to be a movie we really like, know and like.
Yeah.
Like Empire Strikes Back or something like that. Like something we know.
Yeah.
But we're only listening to it.
I think that's a very intriguing idea. And
Yeah.
we should consider that for a later time, for after Oscar season.
Yeah, for after Oscar season.
Yeah.
But as for right now, looking back at this episode, the highs and lows, we laughed, we cried, I peed a little.
Yeah.
I gotta say, this has been a pretty good podcast.
This has been a really pretty good podcast.
A really pretty good podcast. That would be a good bumper sticker. Just the Pope on film. A really pretty good podcast, in quotes.
Yes.
And then on the side, a picture of a church organist, and then you don't explain that.
Yes. Ever.
A black and white picture of a church organist. That would be a good bumper sticker. We need to get the scientists working on that.
So until next week, I am Bunny Williams.
And I am Reverend Steve saying thanks for listening, and for Maxwell and Bella and Eleanor and Natasha and everybody else, I just want to say thanks for listening, and we will see you next week, you godless heathens.
And you douche waffles and poopy ducks.
Do 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 do. Cut and print.
You got your toothbrush?
Check.
Do you have your deodorant?
Check.
Do you have your cozy clothes?
Got that.
What?
Do they know I'm black?
Should they?
You might wanna,
Mom and Dad, my black boyfriend will be coming up this weekend. I just don't want you to be shocked that he's a black man.
I ain't never seen you like this before, bruh. Meeting families and taking road trips. Don't come back all bougie, man. Come back, got your damn pants up to your damn stomach.
So you guys coming up from the city?
Yeah, we're just heading up for the weekend.
Can I see your license, please?
He wasn't driving.
I didn't ask who was driving. I asked to see his ID.
Call me Dean and you hug me, my man.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? We hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go.
Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
I'm gonna quit.
She'd take care of that for you.
How?
Hypnosis.
I'm good, actually.
You ready for this?
How bad can it be?
So look, I go do my research. Apparently, a whole bunch of brothers been missing in this suburb. But it's cool. Bro, how you not scared of this, man?
Good to see another brother around here.
Chris was just telling me how he felt much more comfortable with my being here. Get out.
Sorry, man.
Get out! Yo!
Rose, we gotta go.
Is everything okay?
Rose, the keys. Just get the keys.
I don't know where they are.
Rose?
Sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
Money is a terrible thing to waste. Terrible thing to waste.
If there's too many white people, I get nervous.